Alrighty, good morning everybody. Good morning. Let's get this cracking for the day. It is, what is today? Thursday, January 7th. Let's get it going. You're seeing this in the future. We have survived the apocalypse of the Capitol building. What a day. We'll unpack all that later. Plenty to talk about today when the market's not moving. Plenty to talk about. So yeah, see what we can get here. Let's see if we can find some pips first. So good morning everybody. Good morning, good morning. Let's get this cracking here. So yeah, just kind of chilling at the moment, just getting started for the morning. Let's see what's going on here. Turn this music down a little bit in my ear. Second. So yeah, market's looking a little better today. It's looking okay. Alrighty. Okay, I think we're good to go. So yeah, good morning. I'm just flipping through here. It looks like I think the dollar's strong for once. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've seen that. The dollar index had strength overnight. The pound has definitely gained strength all of a sudden out of nowhere, out of the last few minutes. The pound is charging to the upside here right now. I was hoping it was going to pull back a little bit so I could get into it. So we're watching it. Yeah, hopefully it pulls back a little bit. It's just kind of taken off and gone, and makes sense. I mean, yeah, it makes sense. Just left its current consolidation and heading up to the next level. Yeah, split this into range consolidations. You got equal highs, liquidity above the high. We're on the way up. Probably going to do something like this on pound yen. So we're just kind of watching right now, waiting for a pullback. You don't want to jump into something like this. It's just not a good idea. We're right at a point where it's probably gonna have a little bit of rejection here. Gonna be some contract settlement on the sell side. Anyway, we'll come back to that. We're flipping through. We're watching. The euro's not really doing a whole lot. This over on something. A couple interesting pairs: pound Aussie, pound Kiwi, because of how low these are in the weekly cycle. Very, very low. This is the thing. If this will pull back a little bit, form some kind of structure here, I would definitely be interested in trying to catch a range low after this little push here. You know, some kind of little consolidation. I'll take it. So we'll watch that for a minute. This is a thing. So yeah, back to the other side here. Let's see what we got. Again, the dollar's strong, but it's not no real movement yet. Pulling back on Euro Aussie. Euro Aussie's definitely on the watch list, but I would rather take it from lower. Not really liking these rejections on the top here. Hold on a second. Man, you know, like the structure's pretty good here. I just, short-term price action wise, not really a fan of that. I don't know. Thing is if it does pull back down a little bit, there's not really a lot here. I mean, so I don't know if that's going to continue down or what. It's just so low on the week. Like we're down here on the, you know, on the low of the week, basically. Yes, Euro Kiwi again is same kind of thing. I mean, it's just hanging out down here on the low of the week. Gosh. All right, so pound CAD. Yeah, some of these pound pairs is one of those things where you might just have to make a decision on it and chase it. You know, weigh the risk reward here. How many, you know, looking at a potential 90 pips on top of like pound dollar, pound yen's already kind of taken off, but you know, there's room there. I just wish this would pull back. So, you know, this is kind of the issue here is sometimes early you just get a run. You know, it had this, it's consolidated for 2 days basically. You know, it's just been consolidating, kind of expanded a little yesterday, and then it's just taken off today. Today looks like it's just going to be a trending day in the pound is what it looks like. I hope so. I want to see this close strong above this opening range here, like on pound CAD. Definitely interested in pound CAD here. This is a thing where, you know, you can take the risk. You know, keep a tight stop on it. It's low. Walking away. All right, so the pound's walking away here. You know, you got to make those split-second decisions to either take it or not. That is the problem. So much room on this. If this will actually go. Tempting. Wait on it. I don't want to take it yet. I'd want to see this close and then pull back. Pound is just incredibly strong right now, so it's now the strongest. And it's something that's pulling back down. The Swiss. On Swiss was just one that took off. You know, so it's okay. You know, just didn't jump into it, but still early. So, you know, this is good. If it's going to show some kind of move, that's good. You know, it's going to give us a direction. We'll wait for this to pull back a little bit and try to get in it. Try to get in the middle of it. I wonder if Abdul's still in that. I think he was in pound Aussie yesterday. Today's probably going to be the move day. Same thing. If it'll pull back a little bit, looking good. Euro dollar actually doesn't look very hot here. This is tempting on euro dollar. Get a lower high. It's rolling over lower high and it's squaring up bearish here. Underneath the lows. This is one of those things where, you know, take a shot on it and you're targeting the previous low. You got, everybody's gonna get stopped out under this swing low here. So this is definitely a possibility. If this closes bearish, you know, take a shot at it, stop above the consolidation. I'm gonna get that ready right now and just not even think about it. Haven't entered yet. Dollar index, kind of the same thing. It's squaring up bullish to go the other way. Just trying to get above the previous day's high here. Looks like these euro pairs are going bearish. Euro dollar specifically. You can catch one little run down there on this close in 2 minutes. That's a possibility. Price action wise, there's not really a realistic range low here. It's definitely going bearish, and we got a lower high overall. Got a target swing low. Looks good. Yeah, good morning. Good morning. Yeah, hopefully that doesn't just take off. It's one of those, again, you got to make a decision on this. Do you just take it or you wait and see if it pulls back up? You know, it's a tough one. I don't like selling in these little rejection areas, but this one where, you know, it's probably going to take off as the day goes on to the downside. Here's are pulling back. ready to strike on it. Euro yen, same thing. I mean, it's bearish. That comes down. That could be, there could be a nice move down on that too. It just may take a while to roll over. This euro yen here, like this may just do that kind of thing. It may, you know, distribute up on the high. May not be a quick move. Missed this here. Pull back up a little bit. This is a perfect short on euro dollar. I just wish it would pull up a little bit more. Give me something. Get a better deal on it. I mean, this is just a continuation. Perfect for continuation. 17 seconds. Any green, I'm gonna jump in here short just to try to catch below this low. I think this looks like it's gonna run, and it's very high. It's a good risk reward. Please pull up just a little bit. All right, take a little stab on this one short. All right, I'll take it right now. Stop above the consolidation. If it comes back into range, I don't want to be in it. And just looking to get back below the swing low down here. I wanted to fade that green just out of principle, get the best possible entry. Not back above that. Just looking to get back below, at or below the swing low down here. It's good. 1 to 2. Come on, take off. Let's go. Stalked that. Let's go. Else, what other euro pairs? Euro CAD's taken off too. It's just entry's not there anymore. And again, you know how low the dollar is, and how high this euro dollar is. It just can't be understated enough how big of a potential move this could be. You know, it's just way up there. You got to go out higher time frames to see how low this is, or how high this is. But as of right now, you know, we're just trying to catch below the swing low here. We're going to target this low, and what we're really targeting is this block right here. Okay. I'm really just trying to target that. People on the other side, and you got this section here, price, and we're just trying to get in here. Oh, straight line, you know, this section in here, and then the obvious thing, the previous day's equilibrium here, swing low, liquidity below the low. You know, there's going to be, you know, anybody who got long here yesterday. Where's their stop loss? Right here. That's where we're going to target that liquidity. We're going to target those stops. I mean, it's just, you know, that's the idea. You know, if you couldn't see all this and you went long, say you went long in here, where would you put your stop? Right? Very simple, right? Where would you put your stop if you went long right here? Everybody's in the same place. Everybody's money's in the same place. Right here. So we're going to try to get close to that. We're actually at a level here. If we can push through that, we're going to be all right. Going to be, yeah, looking for about 30 pips to the low. It looks good. Now, what's up with the pound? Got one on the line there. Hopefully that doesn't, you know, this could mess around for a little bit too, because it is high. Hopefully, I'm hoping it just runs. Another thing you could do is just, you know, take the few pips if you need to, but I'm willing to take it on a possibility. You know, I'm willing to take the going back and forth on the possibility that runs that full 30 pips, just because of how high this is. Like it kind of puts it into perspective. If you zoom out a little bit, you can see that. Wait a minute, you know, it's not like you sold the bottom or something, you know. A big lower high. See, this kind of thing, big, nasty lower high situation going. So we'll watch that. Hopefully that'll just go. And I'm aware that, you know, this 1 hour could have pulled back, and that was kind of what I was taking the gamble on, but it pushed, so we'll see. Hopefully that falls. It's a maybe. It's worth a shot. I mean, it's not like it's bad risk reward. We'll target that low, see if we can get there. I think Aussie CAD, we'll take a look at that in a second. We will take a look at that in just a second. Euro pound is another one. This dumped, it just took off early. Yeah, because the pound was strong. Swiss, not really doing anything. Euro yen's a maybe for later. I think this is going to be in a range, but we're probably closer to the top of it. We just haven't made it to the bottom of that range yet. There's a good potential run there. Potential on that. Watch these pound pairs for a minute. This might be a chance on the pound as this pulls back. I'm not a big fan of these lower highs on pound dollar, but some of the other pound pairs, something that, you know, the dollar's potentially going to get stronger, so that might not be a good idea. Pound CAD, if this will pull back, you know, again, structure looks good. If it'll pull back a little bit, I'd be interested in that. Swiss, I don't know. It's just kind of rangy. I don't know. There's a lot of room for that to come back down. Pound Aussie and pound Kiwi, I'm definitely interested in, but not until they pull back down. Kind of missed it taking off there. God, these things are so low too. They're so low. Need to come back a little bit. That for a second. See what's gonna happen there. Take a look at Aussie CAD. Hold on one second. What was that? Is that me? Oh yeah, what's up? What's up? Good morning, morning. Chillin'. Yep, same thing. Yeah, let's take a look at that. Yeah, I haven't looked at it really yet this morning. I'm just still kind of going through everything, getting an early start. Or, I mean, not really an early start, more of a later start, but haven't made it through everything yet. We'll get it to get this second. I was just trying to take whatever started moving. The page doesn't exist on that chart. Aussie CAD, let's take a look at that for the YouTubers. Oh, I forgot they can't hear you. Unmute them. Yeah, I mean, Aussie CAD.
Care about what's going on in the States right now.
Man, what is going on with that? Yeah, I was gonna say, what a day that was. Speaking of which, yeah, what's up with the
aftermath of this is gonna be?
Yeah, it's pretty wild what's going on. And then what the outcome is going to be. There's so much to unpack with that. We'll have that discussion in a little bit once the market slow down a little bit. It's just, man, there's so much with that to unpack. All the stuff that happened yesterday. It was just incredible. It's just, man, it's kind of sad to see that. Just so much going on, like Like that, that girl that was shot was a 14-year Air Force veteran, and she was shot in the back of the neck by the police, and there's still no answer why. They turns out she was in the Air Force. She'd been in the Air Force for 14 years, and she's dead. So it's crazy. There's just so much stuff going on with that.
I'm just gonna have a monster of a day right now. Same.
Yeah, Aussie CAD. I mean, it's so high. We were looking at this. Somebody was asking about Aussie CAD. We've been looking at this one for a while. Aussie dollar, Aussie CAD, both kind of all the Aussie pairs. But they're just so high right now. It's just ridiculous. So the thing is, just when it's done going up, right now, it's already dropped quite a bit and broken, these previous section of lows right here. So what I would be worried about, honestly, is that this ends up in some kind of range, like it ends up coming back up. Like wouldn't necessarily sell it right now. Wait and see if it comes back up and makes a lower high, retest this high but fails. As far as points to watch, I mean, I would definitely be watching in here. Take a look at a different chart. Hold on. Yeah, I mean, right now it's be watching it 98422. I'd be looking at this on the way back down this area, somewhere in here. Yeah, this block of price right here, and that's going to be an important piece of price on the way back. Right now it's really low. Like this is not something that you really want to chase, to be honest. You don't want to sell the low of a big candle like that. So if this would pull back up a little bit and kind of fail in this area right here, if this would kind of pick back up like that, I might take a risk on a continuation maybe. But the majority of this has already happened overnight. Gosh, I'm trying to swallow my coffee. Sorry about that. This has already moved a lot overnight. Yeah, I mean, basically, since Asia, this has already dropped forever. It's already come off the high. So, chasing this, you're chasing something that's already moved and it's already broken a major low down here. So you run the risk of this coming back up and doing that kind of thing. Doesn't mean it's a buy yet, but it's one of those things where I would wait. I would wait and try to take a sell from higher. Where is the question? Probably up into here somewhere. If it would come back up like quite a bit higher, I would probably take a sell on it. It's just what this looks like to me, especially something that's on the high like this, is that this is going to just distribute up here and then eventually roll over. Like it's probably not going to be a fast move back down, but at some point, this is probably going to come back into something like that, put in some kind of range high up here, eventually drop down, kind of retest this density right here. It's just right now I wouldn't do anything on it. Interesting chart though. I mean, all these Aussie charts look like this. Like Aussie dollar is kind of the same. Yeah, I mean, it's basically the same thing. If I was short from higher, I would definitely stay in it. Yeah, no problem. It's an interesting chart. We've been watching this one over the last few days, Aussie dollar especially, because of where the dollar index is. The dollar is extremely low, and it's potentially putting in some structure where it may come off the low for a couple weeks at some point. We're waiting. It's a big maybe. I'm not holding our breath on the dollar, but if because the dollar has been so weak, if that starts to reverse, Aussie dollar actually might be a better choice, because if that dollar gets strong, this thing is it's got way farther to go, and it'll accelerate to the downside. So We're watching this. I mean, this does not look good on this. I mean, it is nosebleed high up here. Crazy, you know. So this is a thing. You know, we're watching these Aussie pairs. You know, Aussie CAD, Aussie dollar, especially. I think the dollar pair is gonna have it will probably outperform because of where the dollar is. So it's maybe, you know, watching it. It's just not a sell from this area, but yeah, it's worth watching. Happened. Stopped out a euro dollar yet? Flip back over here. Nope, not yet. So yeah, anyway. Yeah, we're watching, flipping through everything. Just kind of dollar CAD's actually interesting here. These pound pairs, like, they just kind of took off. I wish they would have waited, but you know, like pound CAD, if it'll put in some structure up here and hold. Looks like you got a block forming right here. You can see what's going on. You got these opposite things happening right here. You got sellers up here and buyers down here. You got sellers and buyers in the same place. You got an order block forming here. It just hasn't happened yet, but it's happening right now. You know, generally you get a big move to another level. As that stabilizes, you get distribution of profits and buyers at the same time because it's moving. So now we've got this thing that we can segment this way. Same as the range tool, but it's just with price instead of this thing here. I won't say what it is, but we're watching this right now. You know, you got green rockets on the bottom and red hammers on the top, and we're going to see who wins. We want to see, is the market net long or short from here currently? You know, are we long or, you know, are we up or down from this point? We'll see who wins, and if this pops up here and holds strong, you know, as it pulls back, you might take a shot at it. You might take a stab at a continuation, because, you know, again, there's room on this. If I took it from the top of the range, you know, there's 74 pip potential on the day, and you know, it's a maybe. Really, I would be looking to get above this high right here. If we can get up and do something like that, you know, it'd be a good run. You know, be, you know, good 50 pips or something on pound CAD. It's a possibility. Some of the other pound pairs, the same thing. Pound Swiss has already moved. It's unfortunate, but market's moving today. Yeah, we're watching. You know, you got some blocks forming on the on pound pairs. Everything's looking good. Pound dollar, I would stay away from long, because the dollar is just strong and it's going to fight it. Aussie, Kiwi, and Swiss. If the CAD rolls over, it'll be good. The problem with the CAD is it's kind of strong too, but it hasn't moved yet, so it's a maybe. Aussie and Kiwi pairs are definitely the better choice, but they just kind of took off early. So again, if this will pull back a little bit, like if this would give some kind of pullback or something, like something. So anyway, let's take a look at the indices thing we haven't looked at yet. Let's move on here. Nothing really. We're in a range contraction on these. See what's going on here. We're in a range contraction. Got lower highs and higher lows. Declining volume. Something's got to give there. See how that works? Something's got to give here. It's coming down into the singularity. It's coming down into a point of no volume, and then, I mean, generally these things resolve to the downside, but I wouldn't trust it right now. Who knows what's going on right now, to be honest, with all that. Oh, euro dollar's moving. Hold on. Dollar CAD looks good. I mean, it's bullish. It needs to come back. I mean, I wish it would come back for a better entry. It gave a couple opportunities. It's just not really the, you know, honestly, like that actually looks good. Dollar CAD actually looks good for once, you know, to get above that previous high. And I mean, there's a big gap there. Yeah, this makes sense. I could definitely see that moving up for sure. At least a little bit. Get above that yesterday's high. Not that far away. And then above that. Yeah, that makes sense. Above it. Yeah, so that's a thing. We'll watch that. Add. I just need it to come back a little bit. If it pulled back, I'd be happier with it. I'll take it if it comes back. Dollar peso is trying. It's interesting there. Interesting spot. Broke the low too. It's actually interesting. You know, a little lotto ticket, tighter stop on that. Leave it alone for now. Gold's nothing. It's just flat. Super flat. Kind of reminds me of the S&P chart the other day, and Bitcoin had that big drop and then came up and just flat. See how that works itself out. Bitcoin's at 37. I mean, it just makes sense. We kind of figured out yesterday it was going to go higher. Waiting for it to put in a high. Can't believe I'm even saying that. Bitcoin's at $37,000.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
It's absolutely insane, dude.
Good. It's just, you know, it's not for me.
Right now.
Yeah, say it's not for me to buy it here. You know, just I'm watching it. I'm waiting for it to put in some kind of peak high, some cycle high, and then I'll start getting interested in it. You know,
this looks exactly like the fractal. Like, you don't know how eerily exactly like the fractal from the 2017 top this is. Yeah. This is literally exactly what it looked like.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I know we're close. I'm just waiting for the big red candle, and then the volatility wild swings back and forth. You know, as it goes down, back up to retest that high, and then the volume dies out, and then everybody realizes, oh, it's not going back up, and then everybody sells all at once. You know, and you know that's just waiting for it. You know, just waiting for the volatility, the swings.
The amount of buyers up here, though, on every dip is absolutely crazy.
Yeah, like, it's definitely crazy. It's crazy.
You know how much money just went in on that dip, that wick, on that hourly? Like,
yeah, well. Let's see if they can hold it. It's you're always a genius in a bull market. I don't mean you. Exactly. I just mean like me too. The same thing. Like, you know, when you're buying in a bull market, everybody thinks they're a genius. I went through it too. When I went through it too when Bitcoin went up the first time. I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. It just kept going and it kept going and kept going until one day it didn't. Then I had to learn to trade. You know? Yep. You know, so. But then
realistically, once it doesn't, after the next, you know, month or so, you're like, oh, this is going down. Then literally it can be the opposite thing. Then you're like, oh, it's going down. All right, going down. Short. You know.
I just know that everybody's gonna say it'll never go under 20,000 again, and then it'll never go under 10,000 again, and then it'll go down to 6,000, and everybody's gonna say, what happened? How did this go from 40,000 to 6,000? And you know, this is, you know,
how much of a retrace would that be? So if we get a 70% retracement on Bitcoin from here, what would that be?
If people think it can't happen, that's exactly why it will happen. If people think it's impossible, that's exactly why it will happen. Always consider your maximum pain scenario.
True. Yep.
Euro yen's actually looking interesting here. This will come up in a. We can get on the well, we kind of are on the bottom side of it. I'll say if this come up and retest that, got some good rejections here. This is a maybe, you know, just coming back down to the low of this range. There might be something there. It's just it's distributing on the high. There might be a short here. Pounds. I don't know what the pound's doing. It's just kind of not really pulling back. Pound CAD is interesting here. If this will hold. It'll hold outside. There's a lot of room on that to go up. I got a messy chart here, but got a block forming here. I'm waiting for this to work itself out. Pound Swiss, same thing. I mean, this one took off early. Pound Swiss was good. I don't like how these candles are getting smaller as this goes up like that. This candle's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. That's one of these is going to print red, and then it's, you know, going to find a range low down here, and then we'll figure it out. But as this kind of grinds up like that, that's not really, it's not something you want to take a risk on. Aussie and Kiwi pairs are so low that there's so much room for this to go up just on the weekly candle, but it needs to come back a little more. They just moved too much already this morning. The try, I mean, you can take it, I guess, but you need to have a stop on that. You know, the probability of, you know, how far is this going to go versus how much farther it could come down. You know, you're basically like at a 1-to-1 here, and you're almost getting to like an inverted, you know, risk to reward.
Yeah, where you want to be looking. Yeah, that's why you have to hop. If you're gonna end up, if it's near a low after drop like that, and you're gonna hop in even after the first green candle, you have to like when London opened there, when you start seeing that over the midpoint. You just have to be like, oh, this is it, or it's now or never type of thing.
That's the thing. You gotta make the decision quickly. You either got to do it or not. You know, that's the thing. Yeah.
And then if you don't, like, you just end up sitting there like, oh, it's going.
Yeah,
then
just
you want
takes off. Yeah, just took off, and now just got to wait an hour or two for it to come back. Yeah, it's just like this is putting in a block. You know, this is potentially. You know, there may potentially
like, oh, should I wait for this? Should I wait for a pullback, or should I wait to sell? What should I wait to?
Yeah, you either have to wait for a pullback or gamble with a bigger stop. You know, say like, I'll take it now, and then have to give it room to breathe. You know, so that's the thing. You know, just if you don't take it straight out, you just got to make the decision quickly. Some of these pound pairs are actually doing okay. The pound's definitely, I mean, it's obviously strong. Problem is all these everything that's bearish down here has already moved, so I don't really want to chase it. Yeah, I don't want to attempt to chase this thing.
If you see how far they dropped, that's the one thing I'm thinking. This might be like a nice push off the low. Then we'll get a consolidation for another step up, though.
Especially like pound Aussie and pound Kiwi are like in a league.
Yeah, those ones.
Here. Yeah, these are like just stupid wrecked. Low, like crazy low. Retested this bottom down here, bounced, consolidated, and bounced hard. Like you've had like a week of downside here, more than a week.
1.765.
It just needs to. It needs to come back to, you know, if it will pull back a little bit, you know, just make some higher low or something. You know, it just might not be today. It could be, you know, tomorrow. Do something like, you know, something like that. You know, I'd be interested in it. It's just it took off, and that's the thing. You know, how much is it worth jumping into for, you know, what's left on the daily candle? Maybe. You know, it depends. You know, where's your stop going to be is the problem. Yeah, there's probably 20 pips on that. I mean, we're kind of in that area right now, though. Like,
yeah, I just wait.
It's not really. It's not that.
Like, than risk that.
Yeah, like, I mean, you don't. You know, you got liquidity above this range right here, and we're entering this area where it's probably not a good idea to mess with that. It's just I don't like chasing stuff like that personally. I'm just like, I look at it and like, yep, it's too close to where there's some potential sellers going to come in here, and there'll be liquidity to close longs here above this consolidation, and we're kind of in it right now, and it just looks like it's time to slow down a little bit on that. But you know, it's good. I know Abdul was in this yesterday. I don't know if he stayed in it. I think he was in down here somewhere. It's probably in profit now if he's still in it. But yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things where if it would pull back and put in some kind of structure in you know, over the next couple hours, and pull back in range time here over the next 2 hours or so, I'd be interested in it. It's just running straight away. So good game on the pound. Pound dollar's not doing anything because the dollar's strong. That makes sense. Your Aussie bounced. Yeah. It's got a consolidation here. I'm not really a big fan of that, but if this will go and show a directional move, this might be a thing too. Euro Aussie. It's just, that's kind of weird structure, but it's rolled out. Like, I could see it going up today. I could see it making like a counter trend move today. I'd rather be long than short. It needs to get above this consolidation. Like, you know, this consolidation here overnight needs to get above that, and then I'll get interested in it. It's trying. See what's up with the euro here. Yeah, it's pound pairs were the run this morning. It's the one thing. Do I trade Bitcoin? Yes. I trade a lot of Bitcoin. Yeah, I actually started trading for Rod. Yeah, I actually started trading Bitcoin, you know, years ago, late 2016 or on into 2017 is when I really started like full-time kind of trading. Definitely trade Bitcoin. I'm out of Bitcoin right now. I was sitting in spot and I'm out right now. I'm sitting in cash and I'm waiting. We were just talking about, we had a big conversation about this yesterday about getting back into perp swaps. I normally just trade perpetual swap futures. You know, I was holding spot and I would trade futures, you know, like, you know, CFDs, or it's kind of the same thing. Depends on where you trade it really. But yeah, I'm ready to start trading Bitcoin again. I like where this is and I like the volatility that's about to be coming, and I'm ready for it. I don't want to get into messing with it at the top. I want to see this put in some kind of cycle high first, and then I'll have a better idea on potential ranges and targets. And I don't want to mess with it yet because it's not necessarily a short yet. It hasn't shown that it's a short yet, but it's way too high for me to buy it. For me personally, it's way out of my risk tolerance to start buying Bitcoin right now. Like, you know, it's even for trading, like, you know, unless I was just in and out. You know, if I was just in and out and there's a, you know, if there's a setup there, maybe. But the problem with it being up here is this can get out of control so fast. Like, you could get a big candle so fast that's a 20% candle that before you can even realize what's going on. Like, I could be looking at something else, talking about something else, and then look over at Bitcoin and it's down 10%. Like, you know, or
yeah,
you
right.
know, or get stopped out, or, you know, you just got to have tight stops right now when you're at these crazy extreme levels like this, either on a low or a high. You just got to have tight stops on it, and I'm just not a fan of tight stops, for one thing. And something like this, I would want to be actively managing it. So it's something that we're definitely going to be doing coming up, though. Once this, it actually looks bearish right now. This looks like a short to me, but I would wait for this candle to close. But this looks like that's coming down. 35.9 probably. It's not looking very good. It's kind of rolling over here, but at the same time, like, people keep buying it. Like, I don't know why people are buying this, and it doesn't matter to me. I mean, I think a lot of people are buying up here that they just hope that it goes higher. And I understand that. It's just that kind of risk isn't for me. I just look at things differently. I've been conditioned to be disciplined, more, you know, disciplined enough to look at that and say I'm just not interested in $37,000 Bitcoin after it's made a 900% move off the low on a peak high. It's broken every high. It's peak right now on the high. It's at the high. It's not like it pulled back. Like, it's on the high. Like, I look at this and I'm just not interested in it. I don't care if it goes up. It doesn't matter to me. You know, it doesn't change anything for me if it keeps going up, you know, unless I'm still holding spot. But the percentage gains are smaller and smaller and smaller as far as every time it goes up, and it gets heavier and heavier every time it goes up because it's a fixed supply asset. You know, it's like blowing up a balloon and then letting it go. You know, it comes out faster than it goes in. Yes, the thing is this thing will grind up and grind up and grind up and grind up for weeks, and then it'll take 2 days to tear the whole thing down. You know, it's always how it is. Right now, it doesn't look very good. I'll tell you that. But yeah, we definitely trade Bitcoin for sure. Actually, want to do more of that coming up. But I'm ready. But you know, once the market's, you know, now that there's volume in the market, I quit trading it for a while because it was dead. It was dead for months and months and months. It was just dead. And now it's not. So there's plenty of opportunity coming up for volatility. I mean, when you get these crazy moves like this, the rubber band, you know, the rubber band effect, volatility back and forth there's a lot of opportunity coming on this, you know, just for trading, for day trading it. Right now, as this gets high, volume starts to die out. The volatility starts to go. The moves get a little smaller. It starts to distribute on the high. But then once once the first real down spike happens, that's where your bouncing is going to be flying back and forth. You know, $10,000 flying back and forth. You know, a $10,000 move, you know, in volatility, like it's going to get wild.
You'll be able to scalp it for one, like a 5-minute candle and friggin' just get a $500 push up right away. Like, oh,
this thing's going to get wild at some point. It's coming. It's coming. You know, because it's so high right now that when it does start, like it's going to be wild.
It's going to get savage.
Yeah. So, you know, and that's the thing. Yeah. It is going to be savage for shizzle, but yeah, for sure. You know, it's looking pretty bearish right now. It's actually.
Yeah, I'm short. I'm loving it. It's going to drop.
Yeah, it's putting in some.
The bounce was premature.
Nasty
so
price
that bounce
action.
there, it needed to, if it was going to be bullish straight from there, it needed to drop down and then bounce here, fail, and then consolidate around like 36. And then I was looking to see a pump. It could go up though, honestly. Like Bitcoin can do whatever it wants right now.
Yeah, that's the problem with Bitcoin is it does irrational things. Like it does all kind of craziness. It is, I don't know.
Yeah, some of the fake out candles here have been like, it's been fully wicked down. Like it wicked down red. High. It'll wick down. Oh, sorry, what?
No, go ahead. I was just saying it's just too high to buy it right now. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, I was just saying it'll wick down, like the candle will reject fully and wick down red, and then the next one just like bullish engulfing breaks the high. You're like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Put a stop to break even on this euro dollar, by the way, just in case this is kind of blocking up. Just in case it tries to come up, I'm not going to let this run against me on this. Not now. So I'm going to put a stop to break even. If it gets stopped out, then whatever. Could just close it is another thing you can do. If you're worried about that, you can close it. It's at a level right here that's, you know, people on the other side see what's going on there. Where this is, it's just at this weird level where, you know, there's probably going to be some messing around with it, and just in case, I'm going to put a stop at break even, or you could just take profit on it if anybody happened to be in that. That was actually a really good entry on that. Zero drawdown, just took off. It was a good one. Probably should have taken it earlier, but you know, didn't gamble on it. Hopefully this is just going to drop. I want to see a big red candle here to push through that little doji. We need to break that low and hold down here. And if that happens, then probably good. It's stop hunt dance, and then we'll know that it's very likely going to break that low. But just put a stop at break even on that. Just trying to get a trade in here. Trying to stick some profit in the bag, and then we'll continue on with the day. Dollar still looks okay. Pound dollar actually looks bullish here. It's trying. Crazy because it looks like it's gonna go. Pound CAD is still screwing around in this block, hasn't done anything. If these pound pairs would pull back a little bit, probably be interested in that. This is putting in some kind of consolidation here on pound dollar. I don't like long because how strong the dollar is, but it's putting in some, it's putting in a consolidation here, and it's been ranging for a couple days basically. Interesting. It's not a buy, but depends on what happens with the dollar. Pound yen, again, if this would come back and give me the top of that range again, put in some kind of consolidation. If this would do that, I would be all over it to try to take it one more round. Now that we're on top of this this range here, if it would pull back to the, you know, give me the bottom of that, I would be interested in that and trying to buy the bottom of that. I need to watch it actually. Ooh, all right, here we go on euro dollar. Let's go. Need to put this up on another monitor. And some of these pound pairs will pull back a little bit. I'd be interested in it. Pound Kiwi and pound Aussie have already pretty much gone too far. They need to come down a lot. Not really the right entry. Euro yen is going bearish. Come on, euro dollar, give me a trade today. Could have bet the farm on that. This thing is so high too. It's ridiculously high. Just to put it into perspective, like this is not it's not like this is low. There's a huge potential move on this. I'm just trying to catch some pips here. Trying to get it back to the low. Let's go.
It's nice little short there.
Again, you know, probably be out of it as soon as it gets to this low or approaches it. Question is it gonna make a higher low? I don't think so. It made a lower high, so hopefully it doesn't make a higher low and then go back up and contract. It's just, you know, it's not a bad idea to take profit once you get it like this, but there's so much room to the downside on this. It could just be a huge run, just massive. Kind of depends on the dollar. Well, dollar's bullish. Dollar's definitely bullish here. Need to watch this too. As the dollar index approaches up here, may close that. We'll watch that previous high on the dollar. Try to figure out a target.
This is a really interesting spot.
We'll buy lower lows. Not always. I do absolutely watch lower highs and lower lows because of the story it tells. But yeah, I mean, I watch price action. Somebody's asking, you know, do I basically only buy lower lows? It's not a bad idea. It's not a bad strategy to say I'm only going to buy this if it breaks a low or a high. That's something we actually talk about a lot, is, you know, that you don't have to be that conservative, but, you know, that's a pretty conservative approach, but it's an effective approach to say, look, I'm only interested in this if it breaks a low or if it breaks a high. If I'm trying to catch the low, like a low of a day, if I'm trying to catch a knife, basically, then yes, I'm only interested in it if it breaks a low. But there are other types of entries, you know, if that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, right now, I mean, it's just structure wise and market cycle wise, this is just out of the galaxy right now on euro dollar, just because the dollar has been so bearish. The euro's been strong and the dollar's been bearish. It's, you know, it's been a synergy working together, and this thing is just to the moon, and it's just, you know, it's made a lower high in structure, so, you know, looking for it to potentially break this low. It would make sense. You know, the question is it going to come back and stop me out before it does it? Ooh, there's a push. Hold on. Taking euro yen with it. Euro pound was a trade just because the pound was so strong, but as I say, euro yen's on the way down too. Kind of gave the rejection there. It's another one. You know, there's pretty clear targets down here at these lows. It makes sense for this to go down. Euro pound was the one, but I just didn't catch it fast enough. Been a good day for the bot on that. Anyway, getting juicy here as we approach. Getting tempting to start taking some profit. Honestly, there's nothing wrong with taking profit on something like this. We put in a trap here for the people on the other side. Basically what's happened here is we're, we got this block here, and what I'm worried about is this wicking back up, but we kind of got a trap here. I'd like to see this close a big weak candle, because then if this pulls back up, it's less likely to recover. It's more likely to fail, like center mass here. On the next candle, it's more likely to fail, consolidate, and then drop again. Start this, the stop hunt dance. Drop, consolidate, drop, consolidate, drop, consolidate until it stops breaking the low. That kind of thing is what I'm looking for. It's a stop hunt dance. It's doing it right now. So we just formed the trap. The consolidation is next. Without giving too much away on the other side, giving away the moves. But yeah, I want to see this ideally in 30 seconds close this big nasty big candle, and then I want to see the next one fail. And the far side of this block on the way back up is going to be trap. We've got trapped longs here, and it's going to come back for this later and then reject again. But right now I'd ideally like to see this just fail. I'm expecting the next candle to be green.
You're looking pretty good there.
Yeah.
I mean, gold is about to drop.
Yeah, so I'm okay with this. If this, comes up a little bit, as long as it fails over the next, hour or so, and then takes one more dive down, and when it takes that dive toward this previous low down here, it's probably be out. Hopefully it'll just die. It's always great. Let's go. Finally. Gosh. Nice move there. Looking good. Dollar's bullish AF, but approaching projected high of the day. See that? So this is one of those things where you gotta make a decision. I'm actually considering just taking the profit on this. One thing you can do is you can just take some down and just let it go. Might leave a runner on it. Actually, while this is on a big full nasty bearish candle, I'm gonna make an executive decision here, and I'm just gonna take most of this down right now. While this is full, I'm leaving a runner on it. Let's see, I took 80%. I took 80% profit. I'm going to leave a 20% runner. At a quarter lot, I took 2 minis down. Wish I would have put a bigger position on that, honestly, but let's get $50 or something like that. Better than nothing. It's a good start for the day. $44. Good start. I got to find something else. And still got a runner. So stops to break even on this. Took 80% down at 23 pips. Looking good. Looking good. Hold on, give me 1 second. Okay, decision time. I think I'm just, man, it's really tempting to close that runner. Thing is, it's probably going to bounce here soon. I think I'm just going to close this. It's like 28 pips. It's whatever. Just going to close it. Not even worried about it. Not worried about 1 or 2 pips. If it bounces there, I'm going to wish I would have done it. And it's not worth it. 2 or 3 pips to wait and take the risk on taking that whole thing back. 28 pips back on, a 20% runner. So anyway, closing that out. A good start to the day. So now we got the trap. Now we got volatility to trade there. The dollar is high enough that I'm just not interested in being short anymore on this, to be honest. Even though this is just dumb high, I'll wait. And if it drops and dies, then good game. But as we approach this is a potential range low down here, and even though we made a lower high, I just don't want to be short anymore, to be honest. I'd rather have the money. Give me the dollars. But yeah, it's good. That was a good run. Next, on to the next one. I'm just making the decision to just get out of it. It's not worth it. I mean, with euro dollar, I mean, you're talking about like, another 10 pips, taking the risk on losing 30 pips, trying to be greedy for another 10. It's, whatever. I tend to be pretty conservative with stuff like that. Whatever. I'm out. It's a good trade. It's a great trade. Next. Let's go. Next trade. So we got to find this. Actually, hold on. Let me run to the kitchen real quick. Be right back. We're going to find something else. Actually, still interested in the pound here. See what the pound's going to do. There may be another opportunity on some of these euro pairs later. Pound's going to pull back. Let's see what the dollar's going to do. We'll watch this for a minute and just see what happens here. If it cuts straight through, then cool. But this has already gone far enough today on euro dollar that I'm not interested in being short anymore. It's exceeded the point where it's a good risk reward to be short anymore. It's no longer favorable to be short. And now we'll see what happens. It's that kind of thing. It's just no longer favorable to be short. Give me a minute. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Just trying to warm up my coffee for a minute and see what's going on here. I'm watching the pound, looking through my phone while I was in there. These pound pairs are actually still going. Pound CAD's taking off, and pound CAD might be a thing here. If this will close strong and pull back. It's actually pretty interesting there. That'll close strong and pull back. I'm going to be all right on that. So yeah, where we are here, we've kind of resolved the underside of that block. See how this rejected here on euro dollar, just as an aside, you know. I was saying I don't want to be in it anymore. I have a good idea what's going to happen on the way back up. It's probably going to come back up here and test that. I just don't want to be in it anymore. It's no longer a favorable position. Too low. On to the next thing. There's other stuff happening in the market. On Kiwi, man, look at that thing blocking up. This is going to be an interesting close on pound CAD. By the way, definitely still interested in that. Just watching how this block forms here. This is juicy stuff right here. And there's still quite a bit of room left on it. Even if it only ran up a half a range, that's still 35 pips to the previous day's high. And there's potential beyond that. Statistically, there's a 73 pip potential from here on pound CAD to the upside. So, one way to look at it. I just want to see it hold some kind of consolidation here. Got a new 4-hour candle coming too, so we want to kind of be careful here. See what it does. That's another thing. We could do a little 4-hour sweep real quick. Yeah, man, that's so tempting to just take that with a stop below the range because of where this is. I mean, we're bullish here. Gonna be a good close, but I want to make sure that closes and doesn't wick back down, you know, and then the next candle is red and then comes back down in the range. You know, I want to make sure this is going to stay outside of the thing here. You can definitely see what's going on here. Stay out. I'll get rid of all this too much crap on the screen. If we stay outside of this, close bullish, it's a good sign. Good sign there. Wish it would close a little stronger than that, but not take off yet. I think this is going to go eventually. The question is it going to pull back first? Are we going to retest the center, or is this going to take off from here? This is where you got to make a decision. Got 20 seconds to make a decision on this. I think I'm gonna give it a shot. And give it a shot. Go right there. For the previous consolidation, stop on the hash. Let's go. Worth the risk. Uh, 72508. Just to let it breathe. Probably doesn't need that much. 339. Okay. 39. With a potential of higher. It's worth the risk. You know, just let it breathe a little bit, and if it's going to go back below this consolidation, then whatever. It's worth a shot. Because of, you know, it's a strong close. It's worth a shot. up a little bit, can take a little risk on it. Nothing big, you know, smaller position. Smaller position. And not taking huge risk here. I'm willing to, you know, to give up, you know, 20 pips on it. But 20 pips at a smaller lot size is, you know, okay. But we're looking for a bigger target, so yeah, looking for 60 pips on this. Let's go, 60 pips. It's gonna be a good day. I can feel it today. Last 2 days have been garbage. Straight boo-boo. Boo-boo on the last 2 days. Let's go. Come on. Yeah, we'll just try to get anywhere near that previous high. And then we'll figure it out from there. Gonna have an algorithmic target at 73094. So let's mark this off. This is probably gonna be your TP1. 73. Yeah, 73. And 3094. Whatever, we'll call it there. This is going to be an area to watch. Actually has nothing to do with the candles. Something else here. Different type of strategy. Somewhere around there. We're actually shooting for this as a target, but shooting for this to take profit or secure the bag, and then whatever happens happens. This stop doesn't need to be this big, to be honest. This is one of those where it's either going to go or not. I'm going to let it breathe, but if this is going to go, it's going to be a zero drawdown kind of thing. And if not, and I'll try to let it breathe a little bit, but go. It's a maybe. Need to see more than that, though. Need to see a push here. It's worth a shot while we look for something else. Pound yen just didn't really pull back much. It just took off. Pound Swiss had a good run. It's too late. It's holding. Kiwi's already gone too far. Pound CAD's got room. Hoping the CAD pulls down a little bit. CAD was strong. I know it's been strong. Hoping it pulls down a little bit. Look at the dollar, man. When's the last time you saw the dollar as the strongest currency? Take a picture on that.
Every year.
I was gonna say, man. When is the last time you saw the dollar on top? Man, the dollar is the winner today. That's been a while. It's been a minute. It has been a minute since the dollar's been on top of everything else. Wow. Been a minute. Yeah, this isn't. You know, again, just because of where this is, you don't really. Don't want to be chasing the dollar anymore right now. Wait and see what happens if it pulls back and screws around. Hopefully, I mean, it could have a big day too, but it's just at that point, the dollar is at that point where it's no longer a good risk reward. Come on, pound CAD, give me something, man. Give me this little move.
BB, thanks for the tip yesterday about the 5 pairs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was that's perfect today. Everything.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's just it's a better way to look at it. You know, distributing your risk like that. And you know, try to choose things that aren't redundant and aren't, you know, something where, you know, where they kind of move together, like if the Aussie and the Kiwi generally move together, you know, just pick one of them, you know, instead of both. Yeah. You know, and
it's easier to manage because before I had 10 pairs, so the position were just opening and closing, and I was just like, this here, that.
Yeah, you either have to reduce your risk or reduce the amount of pairs that you're going to take. It's probably a better idea to trade fewer pairs, like we were saying. You know, just
I can
pick
still
a couple.
like the Euro USD. I didn't put Euro USD in this 5 pairs, but I just manage it today, do it manually.
Yep. And that's something I'm working on too. Working on trying to solve that problem of having it automatically make the best decision, you know, a better decision on what to take. But yeah, for now, you know, just for now, I'm actually working on some of that stuff. I was working on it yesterday a little bit before all the craziness went down. But
yeah, I had a meeting, so I was outside, and this morning my girlfriend told me like something bad happened, and I was just like, fuck, what?
Absolutely crazy, man. Man, I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure we'll unpack all that in a little bit, trying to catch some trades, but man, yeah, I mean, that's a whole conversation in itself. You know, when the market dies down today, we'll try to unpack some of that. It's just that yesterday was a sad day in U.S. history, honestly. Like, it was just crazy. Like, it's just shocking to see that. It's shocking to see, you know, tear gas going off inside of the Capitol building. Like, it's just not something that should be possible. Like, they captured the flag of the Capitol building. Like, as a symbolic gesture, like they legitimately captured the flag at the Capitol. They took down the American flag and raised a Trump flag at the Capitol building on top of the building. They literally captured the flag. They completely took command of the U.S. Capitol building, the Senate chamber and the House chamber.
Impossible.
There's a picture of a guy sitting in Nancy Pelosi's desk with his feet up on the desk.
I saw it.
Yeah, I saw a thing where the dude put a cigarette. He put a cigarette out on a painting that's been there since like the 1800s. Like, it's just not normal. Like, it's not something that you should be seeing like in the U.S. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's just like what happened yesterday is just. It's just
I absolutely
like,
agree.
history.
Americans should not be throwing tea into Boston Harbor. You're not about that. How dare you have revolutionary
It's a little different than
in
throwing tea.
culture.
I understand that. You know, the problem is you know, it's just like the girl that got shot, and you know, there's a lot of questions about that too. What happened? You know, she got shot in the back. She got shot in the back of the neck. You know, she got shot in the back of the neck, you know, by a police officer. But then there's video of police officers letting people in. So this is the thing, is you know, it was an attempted coup. It was an attempted coup.
I'll try to find it. A Secret Service agent that was protecting Mike Pence shot her through a door, which had
they said she got shot in the back,
stacked in front of it.
No, yeah, I saw that. That was on the other side, but they said she got shot in the back of the neck by a rifle round. I don't know. That's just what I saw. We'll take a look at it. But yeah, it's sad. That's sad. But you know that she was a 14-year veteran of the Air Force. She was a soldier. She was in the Air Force for 14 years and got shot in the back, unarmed. It's just crazy. Like, it's not, and I understand it. I mean, why were they storming? I mean, there was a hostile takeover of the Capitol. They literally stopped the count. They stopped the count. They successfully stopped a democratic process and raised a Trump flag at the Capitol building. Like, it's absolutely insane what happened. It's sad. Like, it sucks, but at the same time, like, man, I'm surprised more people didn't get shot. Like, it's crazy. It's just a nutty situation. Like, it's just, I understand why people are upset, but at the same time, like, I kind of don't understand why they did that. Like, you want to talk about setting the cause back, like, permanently? It's over. They lost all credibility forever, permanently. It's over. You know, that movement is over. That was it. Like, there's nothing that they can ever say again about Black Lives Matter or Antifa or any of that. You know, there's nothing. They can never say another word about, you know, any looting and riots and any stuff like that, because they literally just took control of the Capitol building and were standing in the dais at the Senate, sitting there with some Viking costume on. Dude had his feet up on Nancy Pelosi's desk. Like, you know how many people are about to go to prison for that?
So they didn't kill anybody.
No.
They didn't steal. Oh wait, did they steal anything?
Of course they did.
They didn't burn anything.
No, they didn't. No, but that's not the point. That's the thing.
People weren't trapped in buildings and killed. So they just walked into a building. I understand your point.
Your point.
Now what, guys?
So
then left.
So do you think that was good for that was good optics for the cause? Do you think that what happened yesterday was
is
going to help? Do you think that's going to help,
but
man?
On a scale,
honestly, it's something that they're going to point to for 20 years.
Really was not much.
Right, but what it was symbolically is massive. It's massive what it was symbolically, what it looks like to the rest of the world, and what happened. Like, it's just nuts what happened, man. It's just nuts. Like if you actually think about what actually happened, I mean, there's nothing they could have done about it. I mean, there's hundreds of thousands of people took control of the U.S. Capitol. The chambers of the Senate, they were standing at the podium. They literally stole the podium, but they were standing at the dais where the Speaker of the House sits. They took complete control of the Senate chamber. They stopped the count. They stopped the count.
While they were there, could they have passed any laws?
Well, no, that was the point. It was successful. That's the whole thing I'm saying. They successfully stopped the democratic process.
But if they stand at the podium, they can pass the law, can't they? They can say, right, from now on, we're going to do things this way because I'm at the special spot. Therefore, my word has got the weight.
Right. Yeah, it's just crazy what happened. Like it's kind of sad, you know. The thing is I mean, there's some people involved on other sides. Like, I think there was probably some people in law enforcement who were okay with it. And, I understand why people are upset. Also, at the same time, I don't understand why they're doing that. That was not the solution. Now they're going to be able to point to that for the next 20 years and say, look at what these idiots did. And, we have to pass some crazy law. Now it's just going to give them justification to say, see, they're all terrorists. They're white male privileged terrorists, and we have to do something about it.
It was a peaceful protest.
That was not a peaceful protest. And that there's plenty of video evidence that shows that was not a peaceful protest. And that is the problem. Is you cannot do that, dude. There's video of them beating cops with baseball bats and hitting and stuff like that, and slamming the barricades into the doors, breaking the doors down, and spraying cops with pepper spray. Fist fights with the police between Proud Boys and the police. Like, it's all there on Twitter. Like, it's all there. Like, it's just, it wasn't a good optics, man. Like, it wasn't good. Like, if they really, they shouldn't have done that. If they were trying to get a point across, it's just the same thing. It's the difference between protesters and looters. With the other side, the left side, protesting is fine. They should be protesting. When a cop goes out of line and he kills somebody on purpose, they should make a point to protest that. Get the word out. I get that, but burning down cities is not the answer. It's just like storming the Capitol building and destroying stuff is not the answer. Putting out cigarette butts on 200-year-old paintings is not the answer. Destroying.
Wait, they did that?
Destroying property. Yes, there's a video on Twitter of somebody putting out a cigarette butt on a painting that's been there for 200 years. Going in and, man, like the federal charges that are coming with that are just out of control. Like, there are people who are definitely going to prison for that. And on top of that, it's just the optics of it. Like, that, they stooped to the level, and that's the problem. If they wanted to make a point and say, look, we're better than the other side, we're better than the radical left, they can never say the word radical left ever again. Ever. They can't ever complain about looting or rioting or anything like that. I mean, there's literally pictures of someone stealing the podium and smiling and waving. Did you see that? They can't. You want to talk about looting?
I did see that.
That's federal property.
Some of the memes of that, and they've been rather funny.
I mean, you can't. It is funny, but they can't now. They can't say anything. They can never say another word about it. They can never. It's over. There's no more justification for any complaining or anything about the other side. They can't. You can never say the word radical left again, because look at what happened. You had a forceful overtaking of the Capitol building. They shut down a democratic process. They stopped the vote. Overwhelmed with overwhelming numbers. Overwhelmed the Capitol building. Stopped the whole thing. They stopped the process to the point where they had to evacuate the representatives and the senators. Like, they stopped it. They stopped the whole process forcefully and then destroyed everything.
Nancy
they broke
Pelosi's
windows.
Computer was left on.
They were breaking windows and all kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, you had a dude sitting there. There's a picture of him sitting with his feet up on Nancy Pelosi's desk. Like, think about that. Like, what if that happened in like Parliament? Could you imagine if 100,000 people overran, whatever, the Parliament building, whatever?
What, in Britain? Oh, we'd fucking cheer.
But I'm just saying, could you imagine the optics of that happening, of them going in and just destroying things that have been breaking windows and destroying stuff that's been there for hundreds of years? Like, could you imagine that? Like there's a point
the
where
British would share.
There's a point where that's not okay anymore. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, there's a point where that's where you're looking at it happen and you're like, wow, they just screwed everything up. They just destroyed the whole thing. You know what I mean? Like, if they were trying to make a point, they just lost it. They lost all credibility yesterday. And that's, look, all the senators who were going to reject the vote and protest the vote, they all stopped. They all changed. They switched back. They're not going to stand. Everybody broke. You should watch the video of Lindsey Graham breaking up with Donald Trump. Like, last night when they reconvened at like 9:00, they reconvened later. And then Lindsey Graham was basically like, I can't do it anymore. I'm no longer supporting him. Like, it's crazy. Like, what happened? Like, there's this big, like, division yesterday. It was like it was an attempted coup. I'm telling you, like, it was a failed attempt. But I mean, there was an attempted coup, an attempted overthrow last night. And it was successful, like, as far as the physically breaching the Capitol building, like, like what that looks like to another country. It's crazy. Like, what that, it just doesn't make sense. I don't know. There's just so much to unpack with it. There's a lot of funny video too. Like, a lot of it's funny, and then a lot of it's not. Like, some of it's just like, it's deadly serious. Like, you're just like, I can't believe that just happened in the United States. We're going everywhere around the world trying to tell everybody how to be a democracy, and fighting wars about it, and then they look at that on the news and they're just like, why would we listen to these? They can't even control themselves. They're having a civil war. Why would we listen to them? It looked like a civil war last night. It looked like a war scene. People died. People got shot. An unarmed 14-year veteran of the Air Force got killed, shot in the back. Like, what in the heck, dude? Like,
I posted the video in random.
Just crazy. Like, it's just the optics of it. Like, I think the problem is now they're gonna go and look at that every single time. Okay, I'll check it out. They're gonna go and look at that and point to that from now on and say, these guys, and anybody who is conservative is a terrorist. Look what they do. And it just justifies the other side. The problem.
That's absolutely excellent. Paint 70 million people as terrorists. Go on, do it.
I'm just saying.
Do it.
I just mean, like, it. There's no more taking the high ground.
High class, intelligent level thing to do.
There's no more argument of taking the high ground and saying, look at all these people, whatever. They can't do that anymore, because what they did is they just showed everybody that they're just the same. There was no different. What did they do? They broke into a building, destroyed stuff, and stole stuff. Think about it. Let's just call a spade here, is what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there are extremists on both sides. And that was the proof to the world. The thing that everybody already knew. But they proved it, and that was the thing. And who knows if it was instigated? Like, there's many other questions there, but at the same, what actually happened is what happened. And it's just wild. It's wild. Tone Vase was there. Interesting. In the chat. Yeah, so it's just crazy. It was a nutty thing that happened. It's shocking to see that. It's shocking to turn on the news, and it's just, you cannot believe that the Capitol building has been overthrown successfully. It shouldn't be possible. Like, that video of taking down the American flag and raising the Trump flag from the scaffolding Like, that's a symbolic thing that's going to live forever. Like, there was a successful overthrow of the Capitol building. Like, one of the most important buildings in the world. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's absolutely bonkers. Some of it's funny and then some of it's not, you know. And it's just, holy cow. Anyway, we'll take a look at all that stuff later, see whatever happened with it. I went to bed, but like 9 o'clock is when I was going to bed when they were reconvening the Senate and they were voting on it, and then they all changed their minds. But do we do gold and, sorry, I was just looking at it. Do we do gold and silver? Yeah, definitely. We got a lot of metals traders in here. I used to trade silver a lot. I used to trade gold a lot too. We look at everything. We look at equities and silver. We trade anything that moves. Anything that moves. The S&P is not really doing anything pre-market. Oil's on the high right now, distributing on the high. There's not really anything here on that. Gold is kind of the same thing. It had this big dump, and now it's just kind of consolidating in the middle, waiting for it to make a move. It's just in a range right now. But yeah, sorry, just off topic. Yeah, we definitely trade metals and stuff. Somebody on YouTube was asking, do we trade gold? But yeah, it was wild. Like, it's wild. Like, they can't say anything anymore. You know, they can't say, look at all these rioters. Never again can they ever say anything again. And that's kind of the point I'm making, was they just completely shot themselves in the foot. Like, it's over. It's 100%
you know
over
that they
for
will,
that
and you know that they will point to all of the previous rioting that has been happening.
They already are,
and say, "What, you're not going to call these people out, but you're going to call us out." That's easy to.
Yeah, of course, and there is a difference. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that there were some actors there who were just as bad. It's just as bad, man. And it's honestly like. It's one thing. It's just the thing that I don't think you understand. Like, it's just the gravity of the situation.
Quite possibly because I'm British.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe it doesn't have the same cultural impact.
Yeah, yeah. I was just gonna say, it's one thing to go in and loot a Target and see video on the news of a bunch of people going into Targets, taking out TVs and looting and stuff like that. It's a completely different thing to turn on
and killing several people
and that, yeah, it's a different thing. It's a different optics to see some, you know, a group of people burning down buildings, you know, burning down commercial buildings, you know, like Target, and going into a Starbucks and destroying the windows and breaking the windows out and all that stuff. It's one thing, and setting it on fire. It's one thing to see that. It's a completely different thing to see a group of people forcefully take over a building like that, the Capitol building. This isn't Target. This is the U.S. Capitol, where the Senate and the House chambers are. It's different. It is different. It's very different. It's not even close to the same thing. It's very different to see a Target get looted and burned down. And it's a whole different thing to see 100,000 people forcefully take over the U.S. Capitol building. Like, it's not the same thing. It's just not, you know, and it's much more serious than that because of what actually happened. You know, it sends a message that, number one, it's possible to do that, which is crazy. You know, you imagine like a sleeper cell of 1,000, you know, 1,000-man sleeper cell in the United States all meets in Washington, D.C. and successfully take over the Capitol building and take 50 senators and congressmen hostage, execute him on the spot without any, you know, repercussion. Like, they just overwhelm it and just go in. Like, the fact that was possible, and maybe they let him in a little bit. You know, maybe it would have been different if it were hostile actors, but what if it wasn't? Like, what if they pretended to be citizens and they just forced their way in? What if there were hostile actors who got into the mix? You know what I'm saying? Like, just game theory wise, what if there were hostile actors who got into that mix of all the other people and used that as a distraction and got in and successfully, you know, executed, you know, 50, high-ranking government officials. The fact that it was possible is scary. The fact that people got in there was scary. I mean, they're sitting at the dais, like they're sitting at the podium where the Speaker of the House sits, and in her desk. They were in the personal offices of high-ranking government officials, like the third in line. You got the president, the vice president, and then the Speaker of the House. If the president dies and the vice president dies, the Speaker of the House becomes the president. The third in line in the country. They forcefully took over that office. Think about that. The fact that that's possible. It's a different thing. It's a very different thing than seeing a Target looted. It's very different. And that's what I'm saying. Like, the fact that it happens crazy. Anyway, it's a whole nother thing. Wild. It was just wild what happened. It's hard to explain. Like, it's just
I was playing D&D.
Right. Yeah, it's just crazy, like, to see that happen.
So congrats to the people who shorted the US 30 while it happened and made bank.
Right. I was gonna say, I know the market started moving. Yeah, I'm honestly surprised it didn't move more. People didn't. People got a little scared, but then kind of whatever. I think it's just, I don't know. I'm wondering what's going on with that today. How that's gonna play out. I mean, they're already talking about the 25th Amendment, and they're trying to figure out a way to get rid of Trump. I mean, he called for it. I mean,
25th Amendment?
It's where you forcefully remove the president because he's not mentally capable of carrying out his duties. That's what the 25th Amendment is. It's where the vice president and the Senate can forcefully remove the president without an impeachment. They're talking about the 25th Amendment right now, which is basically an emergency order. Yeah, it is, White House fallen, exactly. They're talking about an emergency order to remove the president before his 13 days are up. But yeah, and that's the thing, is what if something like that happened at the White House, or what, I mean, they captured the flag, literally, not just figuratively, but literally captured the flag at the Capitol building. It's absolutely crazy. It's insane. Yeah, one side it's funny, and the other side is very serious. Like, it's not really that funny. Like, it's just like, holy cow! Like, it's shocking to see. It's just shocking to see that. It's shocking to see that. It's weird. It's like, you can't believe that we're there, and then on top of that, it just changes the dynamic of the media story too. It changes the dynamic of the story. When the other side that's supposed to be taking the high ground and complains about the radical left all the time can never say that again. They can't. They can never say it again, because look what they did yesterday. It's crazy. It's just it's nuts.
It's the black people that did it. No, it wasn't.
Well, I mean, crazy things. There's black people there too. Has nothing to do with race. There are black people there. Yeah, there are black Trump supporters there too, but yeah, it's not race. It's political ideology. But at the same time, it's just crazy. They can never say anything again. They can't. It's over. The movement's over. Like, that killed it. It killed it. It lost all credibility. So now we're in this weird situation. Another thing is, now you got both sides mad at the police, which is really interesting. That's an interesting dynamic. I mean, there's a video. It's absolutely surreal video. I'll find it on Twitter, of this guy, I think it's a girl actually, holding a thin blue line flag, a support the police flag, the thin blue line, while they're pushing and punching at the police, holding a thin blue line flag, punching the police. They were playing it on the news last night. It's absolutely insane. Like, the dynamic has shifted. Like, it's changed. So it's just like, what in the heck? I mean, you had a law enforcement shot an unarmed female in the back, killed her, and just clashes with the police from the other side. That's another thing I saw. A lot of people on Twitter were saying, "Oh, well, what if, if this was a black person that did this, they'd have been shot." Well, it did happen. They shot an unarmed veteran of the Air Force for 14 years, killed her. It did happen. You know, so now both sides are you know what's crazy, as I was watching a Timcast last night, it's kind of like a conservative side. I just wanted to see what they were saying. Like there was like 100,000 people on a live stream. It's like this guy that does this, like
Timcast.
Yeah,
he's milk toast.
Yeah, it's but they had some guests on there last night, and they were talking about this. They were saying that their feeds are blowing up with like ACAB, like you know, all cops are bastards. On the right is saying this. The right was all blowing up against the police last night because they killed that girl. So now you've got a dynamic where the left hates the police and the right hates the police at the same time. And it's crazy. Like it's nuts. You know, it's just a weird thing that happened yesterday. You know, the dynamic shifted yesterday. Like everything, it's like everything hell froze over. Like everything flipped upside down. You've got the hard right, just mayhem, looting and rioting, destroying buildings, and the cops shooting them and killing them. Like, think about what happened yesterday. It's pretty wild. It's just a crazy dynamic. But anyway, we'll look into it more later.
Wait, what building was destroyed?
Dude, did you see like the inside of the Capitol building? Like they stole stuff and broke windows.
No, I've not seen everything. I'm still catching up. What building was destroyed though?
Come on, just man. With the passive aggressive, come on.
And watch the video.
You know what I'm talking about.
No, dude. I'm also hungry. I'm gonna go and get myself some
you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
I know what you mean. I'm comparing it to say
I know it's not
the wholesale destruction.
Of course, it's not the same as burning down a building.
Where it gets burnt to the ground.
But okay, so when you see video,
sorry, I don't mean to be aggressive.
No, I'm just yeah, no, we're just having a debate here. No, that's not personal or anything. No, when you see a video of them throwing tear gas inside the rotunda, and they're throwing tear gas inside of the house. Wait, that
actually happened?
Yes, there's videos everywhere, and it wasn't the police. Shit. It wasn't the police. You know, they're destroying windows. They're taking barricades inside the Capitol building from outside and destroying doors.
I honestly had no idea that happened.
They're throwing tear gas inside, and this was the protesters doing it, not the police. Protesters were they had their own tear gas and bear spray and pepper spray. They're spraying the police. They're throwing tear gas inside the halls of the Capitol building. They're destroying windows, like all kind of, I mean, they broke through. There's a video of them literally breaking through, taking a police shield. They had a shield from a police officer, breaking a window with it to get inside. Like, that's the thing, is like they can't say anything anymore. It's just say it's changed. Like, the dynamic had flipped. It's just weird to see it. That's the whole point I'm making. It's crazy to see that. Nobody expected that. Nobody expected them to do that. And I think that was part of it, is they said, you know what, they're not going to do that because they're not about that. They're the side of law and order, and they're not going to do that. And that didn't work out that way. They flipped, and they did do that. You know, it was mob rule. I think security and the police thought that wasn't going to happen, and it did. And it was just wild. That's the whole point I'm making. It's just crazy to see that. It's shocking to see that flip like that, where the right becomes the violent looters and the destroyers of things. You know, and you can make the comparison, oh, well, they didn't burn the building down. But you could also make the comparison that what they did do is they infiltrated and commandeered one of the most sacred federal buildings in this country, and it's different. It might as well have been the White House, and it's different. You know, burning down a Starbucks is different than having an invasion of the Capitol building. Like, it's different. It's just different. You know, it's just crazy. Like, I just can't believe that it happened. But at the same time, you know, what do you do? I don't know. Who knows what's going to come of it? I don't know. I think they're going to be going through a lot of video, and people are going to definitely go to prison for sure on that one. Like the dude stealing the podium. Like, how stupid could you be? Honestly, how dumb could you be to go sit in Nancy Pelosi's desk and take a picture with your feet up on it? Like, I mean, he's 100% going to prison. 100% he's going to prison. Like, how dumb could you be? Like they're taking fire extinguishers and just shooting off fire extinguishers inside the halls of the Capitol building, just destroying stuff, putting out cigarettes on paintings. Like, how dumb could you be? You want to talk about, I mean, they just destroyed the whole thing. They destroyed their entire point. The whole point that they were trying to make is that the other side are animals and whatever, blah, blah, blah. All they do is loot and riot and burn stuff every time they get mad about something. And then they just went and did the same thing. So it's just like, it's just funny to see that happen. It's like, you know, the shoes on the other foot. It's just crazy. Like, it's nuts to see that. I don't think anybody expected it. You know, it's just, it's just wild, man. It's absolutely crazy. You know, and the media, you know, I'm curious to see what the media has to say about it. You know, how they're gonna try to frame that narrative on both sides. You know, so anyway, it's crazy. Yeah, that's another interesting thing. They locked Trump's Twitter account for 12 hours. And I heard it went to 24 hours actually afterwards. Yeah, Facebook was 24 hours. That came later. Yeah, they locked Trump's Twitter account for 12 hours. And they locked his Facebook account for 24 hours. And they're not allowing him to... And they said if there's any more violations on Twitter, that they're going to permanently suspend his account. So, it's crazy stuff going on. Come on, Pound Cad. This thing's screwing around here. Still think it's okay. Give it a shot. Had the pips on it and just didn't hold. Man, what a turd. Problem is, it's going to just come back and probably go back up. But anyway, we'll just short gold. That's a good question. We'll take a look at it. I think gold, where gold is it's kind of nowhere. Yeah, it came down really hard off of this high, and it's just kind of consolidating in the middle. Would I short it now? Probably not. Let's take a look. But yeah, anyways, wild events yesterday. It's just, it's hard to explain like why it's different, but man, I don't think anybody in the world expected that to happen. It's just bonkers, man. Banana Republic. It's a banana republic. Absolutely nuts. This is a coup attempt. They literally stopped the election count. You had hundreds of thousands of people go to the Capitol building on the president's command. He didn't tell them to go in, but he said to go down there and make a message and make a point, send them a message. And boy, did they. They definitely sent a message. An hour before it happened, he told everybody to go down. He said, we're going to march down Pennsylvania Avenue to the Capitol building and send them a message. And that's exactly what they did. That's exactly what they did. He told them to do it. It's crazy. Crazy. They went in and actually stopped the count. They stopped the electoral process, counting the electoral votes. Stopped it. And it's just crazy to see what happened yesterday. They actually captured the Capitol building, literally captured the flag, like actually they took down the American flag and raised the Trump flag on the top of the Capitol building. The metaphor there is powerful, or the symbolism is powerful. Anyway, what a short gold. Nah, I wouldn't do anything on gold. I would leave gold alone today. It's in between. It's in this weird range, and it's kind of expanding a little bit. You kind of had a higher high and then a lower low. You broke the high and then broke the low. That's not generally a good thing. You get this whipsaw kind of mess like this. Let's just probably leave that alone, to be honest. We're in between a low and a high, and it's just kind of stabilizing that drop yesterday. It depends on your time frame. You know, I would watch this right here and leave it alone. You had a big bearish candle, and now we've got a big wick on the bottom of this one. It's just kind of going back and forth. I would let this stabilize. I wouldn't do anything on it, to be honest. And I definitely wouldn't chase this short. It's just my personal opinion on it. I've seen this kind of stuff enough times. I just stay out of it. If it'll move one way or the other, that's fine. It's gonna have to go break this low or break this high. I mean, it's just in the middle right now. I would leave it alone. It's like a no trade today. It was a huge short the other day, yesterday, and today it's just nothing. There's no trade on that. It's not a favorable position.
You're on about gold.
Yeah, we're looking at gold. I mean,
I've already short it.
Yeah, say if you're already short, that's fine. But as far as this was red a minute ago. But while this candle was big bearish, it's definitely not to me. It's not a sell from down there. If I was already short, I would stay in it. Yeah, it's just good thing could go either way.
Look at
it's a lower high. EU. Yeah, we took that. Yeah, we took that for 30 pips. That was the first trade. I don't know if you were here this morning, but yeah, we took it short right here. So actually the only thing I've done today. Took that short down to here and closed it. It actually went a little more, but yeah, that was the only trade we took today. Took euro dollar short from when this when this right here, I'll just explain it real quick. When this happened right here, took it short right here on the when this closed low, took that run down to right here and got out, and it was about, I think it was 28 pips. Yeah, it was a good one. Waiting for this to kind of stabilize and come back up. Got a trap right here. Yeah, this makes sense. It's just it's already low. It ended up going a little lower and broke that low. But yeah, watching that, is the dollar, man. The dollar is so strong. It did end up breaking the high. So whatever. We're just waiting for the top on the dollar. Freaking Bitcoin still flying. Yeah, the dollar is very high, and if that starts to roll back over, which is likely at some point today, it's probably, now that we've broken that high, it's probably going to pull back. That might push gold back up. I don't know. Gold's in there might be a rotation. It doesn't push gold, but sometimes there's a rotation when currency is no longer favorable to be long, rotate back into gold.
Oh yeah, BBC and ropes, they had ropes out there too.
Yeah, so they had a whole bunch of stuff. There was some call, and apparently I saw some things posted last night on a back end kind of channel that there were some messages from this big encrypted group, and they were talking about hanging Democrats and stuff. Like there's some violent stuff that was being posted. Like this was all organized apparently, and I'm not gonna get into all that, but it's just sad to see that happen, man. I don't know. And yeah, apparently there were some plans for violence. There really was. It just fortunately didn't happen. And I don't know. It's crazy to see, a picture of someone jumping down from a balcony with a tactical vest and zip ties and a sidearm inside the Capitol building. It was a hostile takeover, and it was successful, and that's what's crazy about it. You just got to call it what it is. So, yeah, it's just interesting. I don't know. Pretty wild. Like this, that's not something that you want to see in the Capitol building. Just not. Guys inside the Capitol building with a tactical vest, a sidearm, and zip ties. It's militia. This is militia. This is a hostile takeover. A hostile takeover of the Capitol building. That's not something you want to see in the United States. It's just, you got to call it what it is. And this is, there were some other things that were going on there, that did not have good intentions. That's not what you want to see. Yeah, and you can't say anything about the other side anymore with this picture like this. I mean, that is what it is. I don't know how you explain this other than what it is. Got to be honest about it. Just what happened yesterday wasn't good. Anyway, we'll go through that at another time. Yeah, it's just wild. It's just sad to see it. You don't want to see see things collapse. It's basically what happened. Is we lost control of one of our sacred institutions. It's different than a Target getting looted. Yeah, it's different. This is different than seeing some business burning. This is a very different thing. This is a militarized, hostile takeover of the Capitol building. It's different. It just is. It's not something you want to see. I just wish that wouldn't have happened. It's gonna cause these crazy laws. You're gonna get like a more aggressive Patriot Act, like a Patriot Act 2.0, off of stuff like that. They're gonna say, well, this happened, so we got to pass, and Biden's about to come in. He's going to say, we got to pass this crazy executive order, and we're going to declare, blah, 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 illegal, and, whatever. We're going to take control of social media because it's dangerous, and blah, 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 whatever it is. It's a problem. Like, this is how stupid stuff gets passed. They'll let something like this happen, and then I'll copy it and show YouTube. This is not what you want to see in the Capitol building. That's not what you want to see. Period. That doesn't help. That doesn't help. So now with stuff like that, they're going to go back and point to this later and say, we need to pass this crazy law, and we got to take away some of your freedoms. Some of your freedoms just got eroded because this happened, whatever, they'll say, look, social media is out of control. We've got to take over. The government has to take over social media, and now you're not going to have free speech online, and, whatever. They'll pass something, whenever stuff like this happens, this is how you lose your freedoms. This is how, start taking away things from law-abiding citizens, because of stuff like this. And I guarantee you something's coming. I promise you, something's coming. They'll pass something. There'll be something, just like the Patriot Act after 9/11. That's how it happens. Say we can never allow this to happen again. We need body scanners in every building. Something, something like that. It's just ridiculous. If you don't register with this thing, whatever, you have to, everyone in the country is required to get their retina scanned. So because we have to put these retina scanners up in buildings so this never happens again. We need to be able to identify these people because they were wearing masks. So we're going to have these retina scanners everywhere. We're rolling out a security project. Security contractors see stuff like that, and they rub their hands together because they know they're about to get a contract. That's how your freedoms get eroded. It's just the truth. It was a setback. That's for sure. Just, what a mess. Yeah, what a mess. Anyway, interesting day yesterday. Back to trading. See what we got. Yeah, we'll see what's up with that later. There's probably going to be plenty to it. Aussie.
They hope you won't be on lockdown because of that big lockdown.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. The Biden Safety Act, or I could see it now, something like that. There'll be some big rollout plan. We've got to keep Americans safe, and we got to, so we've got to just take away just some of your freedoms. Again, just the frog boiling in a pot of water We just got to erode some of your freedoms just a little bit more, because we got to keep Americans safe. Because look at what these people did. Look at what these extremists did. You know, it was the worst thing that could have happened. Euro Aussie, interesting here. Might be a thing. Euro Aussie's in an interesting spot. Come on, pound CAD. One of those things you can make a decision on closing at break even right now, or let it ride. Really getting stopped out, but you know, if it pops up to break even, you could do it. You could take it off if it didn't go immediately. Just it still may go. Didn't go yet. Euro Aussie's interesting here. Got this consolidation. I'm watching this one. I got it up on another monitor. Got a consolidation here, and it's actually starting to roll back up to the upside. Looking like a pretty good risk reward. This is one of the ones I was looking at earlier, and again, this is extremely low on the weekly. It's very low. We're sitting on basically on the weekly projected low overnight, or at the end of the day yesterday. We've rolled off of it. You know, any wick at all on the bottom of that weekly candle, or just any roll up at all. You know, if this candle closes strong outside of here, that might be something to watch. Dollar's still going. Dollar's flying. The heck? When's the last time you saw that? Saw dollar moon. Full moon on the dollar. Okay, so here's the thing. We got kind of a range high. What's likely going to be a range high up here? Actually, if you split this, we kind of got this level, kind of got an important level up here, potential range, and we're at the high right now, so you don't want to be long here anymore. It actually made it all the way back up, and it's also gone. You can see how far it's gone as far as the range today. It's already traveled way too far. We've exceeded today, and we've kind of got a price action high here too, so this is something. Might want to watch euro dollar here. Pound dollar, if this comes back down, which it's likely to do, come back down. Pound dollar may be a thing long, which is weird because it looks bearish. Euro dollar might recover. It's at an extreme low, so that's something to watch. If this starts to put in some kind of recovery, it could be tomorrow too. Tomorrow may be a retracement day on euro dollar. After coming down and breaking the low.
It'll be today, to be honest, on the 4 hour.
It could be. I mean, it's still early. You know, looking at this, you know, breaking your lows like this, you broke your swing low. Came back and retest. I mean, this makes sense for this to come back up. You know, relief rally kind of thing. Makes sense. Then we'll watch it. You know, watch for some kind of evidence of a reversal. You don't want to. You can try to front run it, but this little kind of pattern right here just doesn't look great. This doesn't look great. Watch this. I don't know what's up with pound CAD. It's disappointing. Had a good shot. I mean, you got a block forming here, just kind of trying to anticipate a run there. You know, right now, you know, you basically got a range here. It's just kind of doing nothing. I don't like where it is, to be honest, but at the same time, you know, whatever, it's worth a shot. You know, it's got a small position on it. Up for the day, taking a stab at it. I'd appreciate if this would close strong, but if not, you know, if this doesn't close strong, like this could come all the way back down. So it's going to take the stop on it. Hoping that was going to stay out. Looked good there for a minute. Pound's pulled back. Hopefully that's going to go again. You know, pound's rolled back over. Hopefully that retests that high. At least get an opportunity to get out. See, it's good because the CAD's rolled over too. That sucks. They started going the same direction. Well, see, kind of back to break even here. Honestly, like, might not be a bad idea to just take the break even on this, but
and come back up, though.
Yeah, if you're worried about this right now, taking the break even on it is probably not a bad idea. If you're worried about it, I'm gonna take the risk on it personally, just because, you know, I don't have a huge position on it. You know, it's not that big of a deal. I'm willing to take the risk on it, but if you're worried about it right now, is the chance. You know, if you're just say, look, I've got too much risk on it, or I'm not sure what's going to happen, you just close it at break even and wait and see what happens. I'm going to wait personally, but just want to go on record as saying right now is the time. If this is your chance while it's popped back up, I'm going to give it a shot, because I'm not worried about getting stopped out on it. I'm going to see if this consolidation holds here. But anyway, you know, I want to see, we got 3 minutes. I want to see if we're going to close above this range here. I'm actually looking through some other stuff, looking to see what's going on. If there's anything good. Euro Aussie, I'm not sure about. I have a feeling that's going to go back down. It looks like it was going to go, but I don't know. Go do it. And that Euro's weak. Dollar's flying, man. When's the last time you saw that? Euro's just kind of slowly grinding down. It's on an upswing right now. We'll see. Pound is definitely pulled back down. It was strong, is pulled back. What's happening here? Looking to see what's moved other than the pound. Everything, yeah, Euro Aussie's in a range. Euro Kiwi's in a range. Euro CAD. Euro CAD dropped because of the CAD earlier, but I mean the Euro earlier. I don't know. Euro dollar obviously had a huge move because of the dollar. Whoops, CAD was stronger, but now it's rolled over. It's just no longer a sell. It's no longer a sell on Euro dollar, but it's not a buy yet. Euro pound's interesting. That's kind of given a little bit of a reversal off the low. That's a maybe. I don't know, just kind of waiting here. We're kind of coming into a rangy period for the morning. Doing all right today. Did Trump really admit he lost? Yeah, didn't think that was coming. Euro Kiwi's interesting too there. It's tempting to try to take that.
You know Trump, I think Trump so definitely did, because Trump doesn't care anyway. You know he doesn't care.
Apparently he's admitting that he lost now. Yeah, I saw EU, Josh. Yeah, this died. It ended up going a little more. Yeah, it's the dollar. Like, look at the dollar. The dollar is Moon City. But because of where the dollar is, it's no longer a sell. We're at the top of a kind of a range here, and get rid of these for a second. But, you know, we've got a pretty well tested range high here. So probably not a good idea. You got equal highs across, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. It was also a previous low. You don't want to be long here anymore. And then if you look at where it is, it's exceeded the extreme today. And we've hit the extreme back to a multi-tested range high, price action range. So it's one of those things, waiting for the reversal on that, but not going to try to catch the top. It's a good close on pound, whatever it is, pound CAD. Really good close on pound CAD. This was an interesting close too on this Euro Kiwi. That thing goes, it's going to go. Just hasn't done it yet. It's a good close on pound CAD. Nice strong close on the top. I want to see this hold and reject here, right where the entry is. There's a reason that the entry is where it is, and I want to see this level hold. Let's go. That needs to hold.
Oh yeah, baby. I took Cassie a jump at the top too. Took a short.
At Swiss.
Yeah, the entry was on the 4 hour on the Cassie a jump at the top. Because it was at the 0.86 Fibonacci level at the top.
Yeah, I don't really mess with Fibonacci much. I done 0.886. I don't know what level that is, but
yeah, it's a level
318 or whatever. Yeah. I mean, I know some people use fibs. I understand fibs. I understand why people. I understand why it can be useful, because so many people are looking at the same levels and everybody's making decisions at the same levels. It makes sense. I understand that. Yeah, it's just not. I don't mess with it personally, but yeah, there's nothing wrong with it, I guess. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. If it works for you, then do it.
That's how I called you down EJ yesterday.
Short. Yeah, I mean, I understand why fibs work. It's the same thing as like moving averages, because so many people use it. It just becomes true by default, because there's
moving averages,
hundreds of thousands of traders all making decisions at the same place. And I get that part of it. Those zones there's a lot of liquidity there because people make decisions at those levels. Everybody's seeing the same thing. The herd is all seeing the same thing. So I understand why, people make decisions at the same place. It makes sense logically. It's just, I don't use that type of strategy, but I understand it. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, if you're short here, I'd definitely rather be short. Price action wise, it makes sense. You broke a high, and makes sense. Makes sense. Retested that, broke the high, slammed back through. Yeah, I mean, if that's the high of the day, it's another thing. Is if that was the high of the day, technically your low could be quite a bit lower. So I would probably stay short on that. Especially after breaking a high, I would just stay short on it. It's actually not a bad trade there if you're short. I wouldn't enter it now, but if I was already short, I would probably stay in that.
At the top, I was short.
Yeah, I would stay in that after, because if it cuts back through this kind of consolidation, I mean, technically, statistically, if this is your high, which is what it looks like, I mean, I think we've pulled far enough down that that's probably the high of the day. Then your projected low is going to be way down here. So that would somewhere in between there, lower. It would make sense for it to go lower. Just I wouldn't let it run against you. You just put a stop at break even, let it fall, see if it goes. Makes sense. Makes sense. Next week, 2,000 on gold. That is a big claim right there. Let me see where we're at. 2,000 on gold. maybe if something crazy happens, like there's some weird, maybe, I don't know. There's gonna have to be some major fundamental outcry for that. But yeah, it's a big move. I'm not gonna say it's impossible. I'm gonna say it's impossible. But yeah, it's a big run. I've seen gold do $100 in a couple days before. Last Christmas, actually, did it. But yeah, that's a big, it's a big move. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, it would have to be a fundamental move. Yeah, technically, that's gonna have to be a big candle. It can be, I guess. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. It's possible. Not gonna say it's not possible. I think it's gonna retest that high at some point. Yeah. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. Gotta get through that first. But poking up in it, yeah, maybe. It might take a couple weeks. If it continued up for the next few weeks. The problem is it's selling off right now, and that's gonna be a weird close on the weekly. But if it, yeah, I mean, I guess if it filled up and broke that high, it might get close. I don't know. We'll see. Right now, it's a lower high. I don't really have an opinion on that, on gold, to be honest. we got to get through this week first, and we've just rolled over after a big move up, so I don't know, we'll see. Maybe looking pretty bearish right now. Probably know what I would choose. Which one first, 1800 or 2000? It's gonna go $100 up or $100 down first. If I had to decide, depends. Kind of depends on what's going on too. There could be some weird fundamental move in the equities market too that could shift that. You also got the dollar coming off of a major multi-year low. And if the dollar is going to continue to get stronger, that's going to put some serious pressure on gold. We'll see. We'll see on that. Yeah, we'll see. So maybe. Not going to say that's not possible. I'm on pound CAD, playing with my emotions today. It's a good 4-hour close. It's a strong 4-hour. It's just kind of in the middle of these rejections. I'm looking to get a little higher on this. Just a little bit more. Just a little bit. It's a maybe. It's a maybe. Not a super fan of it, but I don't know. It's one of those things where maybe it'll go. I don't know. It's not a big position. I'm looking for something else actually. Try to hedge that risk. The dollar is putting in a bearish candle here, so watch euro dollar. Euro dollar reversal to the upside. See what's up with that. May not be yet, but it's definitely at a level where that could definitely come back up. I actually like it a little bit lower, but a little bit lower under this consolidation right here. Kind of stopped in it. If it would poke just underneath that, that would be so much better, but it looks like it's trying. I think the dollar's, you can see what's going on here. You know, we're at this range high. And the dollar's going to pull back down here. Gold might actually make a little bit of a move here today. It's possible. Bearish right now. God, it looks horrible. Structure just looks bad on gold today. Like as of right now, like over the next few hours, it just doesn't look very promising. See if it gets some weird pump maybe. Buckhorn's hanging out on the high. Euro Aussie is tempting, but I'm going to leave that one alone. Euro Kiwi is the same thing. It looks like it could be a buy because of where it is. I just don't, you know, there's definitely room to the upside. I'm just not sure on it. It's not really doing anything. It's contracting down into a range, and you know, you're taking a guess. It's like a coin flip. Thing is it's very low on the weekly, so it's a good risk reward. I mean, it's a very favorable. It's funny, I had this marked out yesterday watching for the low of the week. Look at where it came, dead to the pip at the weekly. So this is interesting because there's a lot of room for this to potentially go up. A huge potential back to the upside. What's today? Thursday? Speaking of which, let's see what kind of news we have today. Are there any data releases or anything? I don't know on this pound cat. It's kind of a crapshoot on that. We'll see. So maybe take the profit and just leave it alone. I'm gonna gamble on it. What was I doing? Oh yeah. We got fakenewsfactory.com. Let's see what they have to say today. What do we have today? What time is it? 6. Unemployment claims today, so we're gonna get this basically the same data we got yesterday. We know it's bad. We already know the jobs are bad. We got ADP yesterday and it was terrible. It was horrendous. And the market went up. Lol. So yeah, we already know the jobs numbers are bad because the company that processes the most amount of payrolls told us. So we already know that unemployment is likely to be rising. It would be logical to expect that. They're forecasting a rise in unemployment claims again this week from 787 to 798,000. So there's expecting more unemployment, more new unemployment claims this week. I think that's just the processing limit. I think there are so many people waiting to get unemployment that they can't even process them fast enough. So that's expected. I think it's priced in. I don't think this really matters, to be honest. I think everybody knows it. Everybody knows that, you know, people aren't working right now. It's just a known, to quote Donald Rumsfeld. There are unknown unknowns. There are known unknowns, and there are known knowns. This is a known. Everybody knows what they know. This is a thing that can be known, that everybody knows. So it's priced in. It's baked into the cake. It's not tradable information. What else? Natural gas storage. It's winter. You know, everybody's probably going to be getting ready to get out of natural gas soon. Try to front run the spring. When it gets cold, you know, generally around October, November, everybody starts buying natural gas. So they're expecting a cut. So that should be bullish, I'm assuming. Let me take a look. Change the number of cubic feet held underground storage. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Price and cut in holdings. It's interesting. What else? Nothing really. So there's really nothing today. We get unemployment claims at 8:30. So we'll see. You know, we already know it's going to be bad. It's not really tradable. So that's it. There's nothing happening today. Which is good. A non-news day can be good. Been good here. This is really tempting. That goes later, I'm going to be bummed about that. It just looks good. Looks good, and it's very low in the weekly. And this short-term price action looks really good on this too. It's flat right now, but it looks good. Like, it looks like it's going to go bullish. It's just in this flat range consolidation. Kind of a bummer. See what else. What else? Kind of waiting right now. We're in this time of the day where things are generally kind of die down and pull back a little bit. You get ranges and pullbacks around this time. Normally you get a big push in London and then things consolidate a little bit, and then we're going to try to figure out what's moved too far, what's likely to reverse, what's likely to continue. It's really the two questions you ask right now at this time of the day. What's likely to continue and what's likely to reverse? About the only thing that matters right now. Kiwi looks good. Ad is very tempting to just take the profit because it's back at the top of this block. And it's possible that this slams back down, but I want to see this go, like actually leave. Aussie and pound Kiwi were really good today. It's just too late on those. Equities market's not doing anything pre-market. It's a range contraction. Reduced volatility. There's kind of leaving it alone right now. Nothing there. Pound CAD's still a maybe. I'm just looking for it to poke just one little bit, just one little run up, and then be done with it. Really like to get above that high from yesterday. It's a good close. That was a solid close there. Come on, just give me a little poke. Tempted to just put a stop at break even. If it gets stopped out, then whatever. Watch it. Oh my gosh, slow. Things are moving though today. Today's a little better. A little bit better price action. You definitely got some move in the euro and the pound, or the dollar. I mean, euro dollar move for sure, and the pound moved a little bit. Some more than others. Got movement. Been kind of a slow week. Monday was really good, and then Tuesday and Wednesday were garbage. See what's up today. We kind of survived yesterday. Oil looks pretty rough here. Oil's not looking good. Worth looking at. Where is it? WTI. See, it's kind of failing here, and we're way above our weekly projected high. We're above the weekly projected high and rolling over bearish. So we're statistically above the high of the week. So statistically, this is the high of the week here. Got lower highs, and we're squaring up bearish here. Something to watch on oil. And just kind of see what's going to happen here. So waiting for this to kind of roll over a little bit. It's a thing. Gold's not doing anything. Oh, watch it. Just watching for a second. Euro Aussie's slowly grinding away. This is a good one. We were talking about this consolidation here, pushing above that. Euro Kiwi and Euro Aussie both look really interesting. Don't know how far. I mean, there's a lot of room is the crazy thing. There's so much room on this. It's 100 pip potential. Question is it even going to go halfway? Is it going to go up a little bit? It's like 50 pips, 60 pips almost. Might take a shot on this, honestly, because of how low it is. If it'll pull back up, what's the euro doing? Euro is just kind of weak is the problem. Kiwi's weaker than the euro. This is really actually tempting here. I need to watch this for a minute. If this will pull back into these wicks right here again, I'll probably take a stab on that. Watch that for a minute. This is doing something interesting. It looks like it's starting to go bullish. It's one of those things where, you know, if you take the risk on it, as long as you manage your risk, you got to stop in, like something with a smaller position where it's not going to hurt you. Because if it goes, it's going to probably go a lot. You know, it'll make up for the smaller position. That might be a thing there. Let's watch that for a second. Give me a second. Let me run to the kitchen real quick and be right back. 1 minute. I'm gonna warm my coffee up. I always make it and don't drink it. Give me a second.
You can warm mine up too. Warm my coffee up.
Can I have a coffee, please? Latte, baby. Just.
Yo, Jean, did you take profit on S&P yesterday? You took profit on S&P?
No, I just jumped back in Asian session. Jumped back in. Like,
did you short?
Yeah, I'm in profit now, but
it waked up though. That's good. I took profit, man. It was nice. It was a good day.
It came all the way back there. Asian City was gonna drop. It did nothing.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to take profit, you know. Because like, you know, I know it's gonna come back after a week like 4 times. But yeah, that's good. Ouch. I'm gonna take Aussie dollar here, small scalp to the upside, maybe small 10-12 pips. See.
Over to your pound NZD. I know you was in pound NZD right yesterday. Did you hold it?
Yeah, no, I took profit, man. I took like good profit on this. I think it was like in 64 pips or something. I'm not sure. Something like that. But also same thing. If I stayed in that one, it would have got me out too and break even. So that's also good that I took profit on it. I literally took profit in the perfect place after it pulled back. So yeah, it was good. Looking for a long here on Aussie dollar, man.
Nah, I want long Aussie dollar. Use my AUD USD.
Yeah, AUD USD.
Nah, I want long here.
No, I would.
Wouldn't do that. It's gonna fall some more.
I wouldn't mind, man. EU looks like a long. EM as well, man.
If I was on a long EU, I'd be longing at like 12222 on the EU. So I'd be longing that.
12222. Yeah, that's way low, man.
Yeah, it might hit that low.
The thing is, look at Dixie right now. It's rolling over, man. That's why I'm shorting the Dixie here. Dixie is gonna die here. Small position. I don't need to make much anymore. Yesterday was just enough for the whole thing. Here's the CHF. Looks like a short. Oh, let's see. Oh, your long GCAD, baby. Not bad. Okay. I agree. Yeah, I was gonna short this.
UJ too.
We'll take it.
Look at UJ.
I'm gonna take this on a pullback.
Yeah, just
look at the 4-hour, man. Yeah, yeah. It's close to the left. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm shorting Dixie here. I think it's gonna get weaker a bit. Let's see. It's waiting for you.
I think you close it, that's when it's gonna go. Once you close it, that's when it's gonna go up now. Man.
Oh, sorry about that. The sound cut out. Yeah, okay. I was muted for a second. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, I was just saying I'm sorry about that. I just realized it was muted on YouTube. For you guys, yeah, I was just saying I'm just gonna take the profit. I was just explaining that. I'm not sure what's going on here. I'm gonna take the profit on this, and I was just closing the profit out on this. I'm gonna wait and see how this candle closes, and if this closes strong, I'm going to take the pullback on the, I'll get back in. I I want to reassess this situation now that this is moving. We were just laughing about it. I was saying now that I close it, it'll take off. But I'm making a decision here on this because it's uncertain. I want to see how this candle is going to close because there's still 10 minutes left. This is good. This is a good thing. And honestly, if you're still in this, it's fine to still be in this. I'm considering getting back into this. I just wanted to get out of it and reassess my position size on it. That's kind of what I was saying. Sorry, I was muted there. Yeah, anyway, gonna watch this. This is a maybe. I want to see how this closes, and then if it'll pull back and give me something, then I'll take it. Of course, now it takes off. But, you know, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. That is for sheezy. So anyway, I wasn't sure what was going on there, and I just wanted to take something out of it. And then if it'll pull back, I'll get back in. Watching that. Looks like the pound's coming back up a little bit, but I'm not sure how long it's going to last. Pound dollar may be a thing. Whoops. But yeah, we're basically talking about trying to think of what I missed. They're saying that euro dollar has a potential to reverse today. You know, there's definitely a possibility of that. Man, somebody's going big on gold, looking for $2,200 gold. Yeah, no. Maybe, you know, if the dollar comes down, I mean, gold may go back up. Doesn't have to, but it's possible. Yeah, this is it's not bad. I mean, it's iffy. It's iffy here. You got sellers
with the sticky.
Yeah, you got sellers here, so kind of in the middle. Where is this? Let's take a look at that. Hold on, higher time frames. And yeah, just kind of, we're in the sell side of this order block right now, kind of thing. Would wait. I mean, I don't know. It's a good strong close in 20. This candle closes in 20 minutes. That'll be a good close. It's just structure wise, like structure. It's iffy because it's really high. Like realistically, this is extremely high. As far, you know, short term, you know, mid term, we'll say. And we've just come off the high and we're consolidating off the high. So, you know, I'm just, you know, my opinion on it is I would be careful that we're in just a range consolidation like this, coming off the high, and a potential second leg down, liquidity below this consolidation. It's just my opinion on it. Don't have a confirmation yet though. If I was trading this like swing long term, I would be more interested. I don't know. I wouldn't do anything on it just because of that possibility. I would wait and see what happens at the top of this range. If this is going to go retest the high or something like that, we'll see. It's bullish right now, short term. I would just be aware of this possibility, cycle wise. And as far as the market cycle is concerned, it's very high in the cycle, and we've changed directions. This has been coming up, stepping up. Like, you know, you got a peak low down here. Then we've moved up. Range consolidation up. Range consolidation. Up. Peak. Potential high. And now we've moved down a level. In the market cycle, we've stopped moving up and we've moved down. So we're on the first step down on gold in the market cycle. So I would just be aware of that. Not trying to influence anyone's decisions, but just be aware of the market cycle here on gold and where we are currently. The fact that we've dropped down a level and now we're consolidating lower below the previous consolidation, it would suggest that there may be another rundown, but that's just, we don't have any confirmation of that yet, but it's something that you got to keep in your mind. Short term, we'll see. Short term, we'll see. Like short term today, right now, you know, we're in the sell side of this. It's one of those things where I wouldn't really do anything yet personally. I look at this and I'm like, there's no trade yet. That kind of thing. It's not sure yet. It's uncertain. Uncertainty for me personally. I tend to be a lot more conservative, with the trading, with lot size especially, and just entries and stuff. If it doesn't meet exactly what I want, I'll wait. But most of the time. Anyway, it's just an opinion. Yeah, and it's just and that's the thing. It doesn't mean it's going to happen. It's just it's a maybe. Right now, it's very high, and it's the only thing I would worry about is that it's dropped down a level. It's dropped down a level from a high, and a lot of times when it drops down a level and consolidates, it's likely to drop at least another couple levels and consolidate. The good thing is that this right here was this extended like accumulation area right here. It's probably going to hold. The thing is, who knows? We'll see if this ends up being a consolidation. This current range right now ends up being a consolidation, and if it does, then I would just be careful with it. But as long as this holds, I would say if it doesn't break this low here and it holds up here, probably fine. Like this could also like stop here and then put in another bullish candle like that, and then go higher. Like it could go retest that high also. I'm not saying that can't, and it could be a higher low, but just looking at the overall market cycle of things, we're probably just made a peak formation high, and we're dropping and consolidating underneath the high, and that's generally not a good sign. But it again, have to wait. We need more information. Right now, I want to see if this is going to hold. Well, right here, it's got to hold. It's got to hold this level. One of those things where it's kind of sandwiched between buyers and sellers. It's like getting squeezed between buyers and sellers. We don't know who's going to win yet. Yeah, we'll come back to that. It's one of those things where it's a maybe, and that's like a midterm kind of analysis on it. It doesn't mean it's going to happen today or not go. It could still go up. Dollar's getting smashed. Man, Euro Aussie, I knew I should have taken that. Stupid, man. No, that was dumb. I looked at that this morning. Euro Aussie and Euro Kiwi both. Ooh, pound CAD just sold off really hard. Interesting. Well, let's take another look at that. Sold off hard. It's still bullish, but it's sold off. It's all over the place. Just don't trust it. That's kind of why I wanted to get out of this. I just don't trust it right now. It looks like it's going to go higher. I just don't trust it. I don't know. We'll watch it. Yeah, Euro Aussie though. That was a good one. This one made sense. Euro Kiwi too. Yeah, Euro Kiwi, the buying equilibrium here, and buy in the middle, it just makes sense. Man, that was a beautiful. God, look at that retest there. Not retest, but that spike down to the pip. It took off, came back to the pip, and then slammed up, and now it's off. Yeah, that was a good one. But yeah, this actually was clean. This Euro Aussie was cleaner. And you can really see this, this consolidation here. When I was watching this earlier, I wanted to see it get above this consolidation, and when it did and held outside, on this candle right here when that candle closed. You know, it's that next candle when that one closed, the next pullback, you know, fading the red, you know, fading the sellers on this, knowing that this is very likely to continue higher. You know, that would have been your entry right there at the top of this opening range here. You know, when we closed outside and then pulled back to it, yeah, that makes sense. You know, this consolidation was a good consolidation. You know, I was going to say if this can get above that, then we're probably good to go on that. This looks like this is going to run. Wish this would pull back a little bit. See. Yeah, this block is just all over the place. It's selling off at a weird spot too. I don't know what's going on with this. It's just... Anyway. This was clean. On Hirawasi. This was just clean. And it's very low. This is crazy low in the cycle. Again, you know, we're just very, very low in the cycle. And we're putting in the low now. Coming back up. This one made sense. I should have talked about this earlier. I just didn't take it. May get another opportunity on this. If this will come back and put in some kind of range above the previous consolidation, just be looking to buy the low of this range. If it'll come back and give an opportunity there, you know, to get something like that, because there's still room. I'm looking to get above this high right here. There's still room on it. Just want a better deal on it. Give me a better risk, you know, give me a better RR on it, on the entry. So, wait. If it takes off, then cool. Whatever. Missed it and look for something else. This, you know, again, that'll come back, would be good on it. Silver, let's take a look at silver. Sorry, I missed the chat. Silver, let's see. You know, and again, just looking overall. Just talking about where these metals are. Doesn't mean it's gonna happen. It's just, yeah. I mean, this thing is kind of. I mean, if you kind of split this, I mean, it's kind of consolidating underneath this mess up here. You know, you're kind of getting a consolidation underneath. It's a little messier on silver. It's a lot cleaner on gold, but this is the thing, is just don't know yet what's going to happen here. You know, is this going to end up being a range, you know, that kind of thing, because of how high this, you know, how many times this is pushed up off the low, you know, from way down here up, okay, whatever that was right there, and then up, consolidate, and then up, you know, just kind of on a high, broke the high, kind of peak-ish, and then down and consolidating. So I would tend to think that silver is probably going to run with gold for the most part. Not exactly, but for the most part. They don't generally run against each other too much. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I would watch this. I would watch and see what happens inside of this little consolidation right here. I would watch this and see what's going to happen. Because it looks, I mean, it's just a consolidation right now, but it's consolidating kind of underneath the majority of the volume of this right here. It's a little messier with these little spikes here. That's kind of noise, you know, it's noise, but if you look at the majority of the density here in this, you know, you got this, and now you're kind of consolidating underneath that, and that's generally a warning sign coming off of a major high like that, something it's already high. When you start consolidating underneath a previous consolidation, you know, it's danger, Will Robinson. Yeah, let's see if it's going to retest the high or not, but it could start stepping down. We'll watch. I mean, who knows? You know, again, if the dollar is going to go bullish, like on, you know, higher time frames, if we're going to have a week or two of upside on the dollar, which is possible after that move, you know, if it pulls back, and, you know, it may continue. Gold's a little cleaner here. I mean, You go out to an hourly, you can see what I'm talking about here. Kind of do a little, you guys understand what I'm saying here. Range consolidation, got to push up, way up here. Yeah, so big push up, and you kind of got this consolidation here, and now we've dropped, and we're consolidating underneath that. And this is what I'm saying. It's a warning sign here. The question is it going to retest the high? Sometimes that'll happen. Sometimes it will come up and kind of do that thing, like distribute and make a lower high. That's possible, but what it looks like right now is we've had a multi-run up in the cycle, and we've potentially made a high, and now we've dropped and consolidating underneath what's likely to be a peak high. You know, just kind of filling this gap out. It's like if you look at, hold on a second. Like if you look at, you know, there's kind of a gap here where there's a gap in liquidity where there's not much of a consolidation here. It's just straight up. See how this came down and filled that out like this? It's filling this dead space. You think about it that way. It's just happening over here. It's filling that dead space above this consolidation right here. There's density here, but there is no density here. There's nothing there. So it's dropped and it's filling that out, and it's just generally not really the best sign. It's a sign of a potential, you know, stepping down, but again, it's got to get through all this first. I mean, it doesn't mean it's not going to go up. It's just generally not a good thing when you get like a high kind of consolidation where you got higher highs, or sometimes it'll be a lower high like that. But you got point is you got a consolidation here and a drop clearly below that. It's clearly consolidating below the previous consolidation, and what's happened is we've stepped down for the first time. You know, and it, you know, technically could be a part of a larger consolidation. You know, over time, it could just be a big, huge range like that, and it may go back up, and you know that's possible. But you got to entertain the idea right now that maybe we just made a lower high. Possible, you know, and we've definitely stepped down. I mean, there's no question there. It's clear, you know. So it's, you know, it's worth a watch. It's one of those things where you watch and see what's going to happen, and your risk reward is going to be the trade, the tops and bottoms of the ranges that are defined. You know, if we come back down into here, yeah, it might be a good chance to buy it. Maybe it'll go back up. If it comes back to the top, might be a good chance to sell it because it could step down. You know, this is one of those things where you take the risk at the ranges and then just mind your stops. So I don't know. We'll watch it. There's no direction here. Well, we've dropped down and kind of consolidating below this up here, which is not necessarily the greatest thing, but we'll watch it. It's a maybe, just structure wise, you know, and then just keep track of this.
Just a quick question for you.
Yeah, what's up? What's up, man?
With divergence on the 1 hour time frame, is that a good confirmation? I mean, if you look at it, previously there was some divergence.
Yeah, I mean, it can be. I mean, you can see you're talking about making higher highs, and then you know, losing strength as we go down. Yeah, I mean, that's a thing. I mean, it tells a story for sure. Yeah, I mean, we're definitely, I actually haven't even looked at this, but yeah, we're definitely on the bearish side of things now. It's generally not good. Yeah, I would wait and see if it pulls back a little bit and makes a lower high. It's possible. But yeah, I mean, you can definitely see, starting here, you can definitely see some divergence happening, especially, you got higher highs in price and then lower highs, you know, in this thing. But yeah, it's just, yeah, I have to keep forgetting to look at it, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, that's definitely, I mean, it's absolutely a sign of things to come. I mean, it's definitely a warning that at some point something's going to happen. It can happen early too sometimes, and then not, you know, like right here, got divergence right here between these 2 points. You know, we had a lower high, you know, and it ended up dropping a little bit. You know, it still went up in the cycle, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely a thing. I mean, divergence is a thing. I just haven't really looked at it much last little bit. So used to doing a different thing, but yeah, I mean, it's there. You know, we'll see what happens. I actually haven't looked at higher time frames. Yeah, just looking at structure right now. Yeah, I mean, it's not much information there. Yeah, on the 1 hour, you can definitely see we flipped kind of, we're on the bearish side of things. It just means that we're losing strength. It means that the red candles are on average larger than the green candles. You can think of it that way. So we've got the selling volume is greater than the buying volume is kind of what this is in a way. So yeah, that's amazing. I would watch it here and see. Doesn't mean it's not going to go retest the high. It's just worth watching here because we're definitely in a consolidation, and just structure wise, like that can start, you know, a down cycle. Just not sure yet what's going to happen because we're filling out this gap right now is what's going on. What's happening? We're filling out this to the left. Whoops, you know, right there, price action wise. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Again, you know, looking for the tops and the bottoms of the range is kind of a messy chart, but you understand what I'm saying. It's yeah, you're just looking to at this point on smaller time frames to try to only take positions from the range lows and highs because it's fairly well defined, at least on the top side. You know, you've got twice it's rejected from about the same area on the top, and you're just kind of estimating a range right now because it's not super clean, but it's there. Yeah, so made a higher low. It did make a higher low, so see what happens. But yeah, it's worth watching on gold. Just trying to figure out what's going to happen today. Yeah, it's just weird when the S&P is kind of the same thing. You had this big drop, and then it kind of slammed up into the middle and consolidated. Bitcoin kind of did the same thing. Like if you look at the S&P, kind of did the same thing. Yeah, it's not on that time frame, but like right here, and it actually ended up going up. But who knows if that's what that is? It's kind of the same thing here as gold. You know, it had a high here and a low down here. Had a big huge drop, and then it kind of came up and consolidated in the middle like that. You know, it's have to see how that works out. And this one actually ended up coming and retesting the highs. So I'm saying it can happen, but you got to pay attention when you get one of these things, you know, a consolidation coming off of a high, because it can step down again. So S&P didn't though. S&P actually went back up and retested the high. I don't know what that was about, but I don't know. But it's yeah, definitely worth watching, you know, on gold because of what, you know, again, what this just did. Doesn't mean it's not going to go back up. You know what I mean? But it's short term. It's worth watching. Yeah, let's see if that fails or not. You got a big bearish candle, and you kind of got an indecision candle right now on the daily. So depending on how this closes, I mean, this could be like a morning star situation too. I got messy. It's all over the place, but hold on. You know, depending on how this daily closes, you know, sometimes you get a big bearish candle and you get a small bodied indecision candle, and then the return. That's possible. That's definitely possible to retest the high. Could be lower or higher. If it's an equal high, it's probably just a range and it may continue, but you know, that's definitely possible. But it's also possible that the next candle also fails like that, and then the next candle is probably going to be the one that drops. A lot of times you'll get like two in a row. You'll get two failures in a row, you know, like that, and then a drop back down to wherever, then another big candle. But you know, we'll see. It's one of those two things. I have to see how today closes too. Right now it's a higher low. I mean, it's still above this, so that's good. It's just, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to continue higher from here. Like it could pull back a little bit and be in a larger consolidation. I have to wait. I don't know. There's a lot of traffic above. Like, that's the problem. Still technically a lower high from that last high. It's just at least it stopped. At least it stopped dying yesterday. And today, again, we'll have to see what happens today, how this closes. You know, if it closes like that, I mean, there's a possibility that tomorrow, you know, you could get that. It is possible. So just wait, probably. See what happens tomorrow. As far as the weekly's concerned, I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm not looking out that far. The week hasn't closed yet. A lot could happen. A lot could happen there. Depends on how it closes. I guess there's one more day. So I mean, yeah. I mean, if that closed like this, I could see that potentially filling out. So that's also something to consider, is the weekly. It's pretty clearly rejected, you know, from this same level up here that it keeps rejecting from. That's the problem. But, you know, at the same time, you know, this could fill out next week also. And whether or not it breaks the high is the question. After making multiple weeks up. Yeah, we'll see. It's iffy on gold. It's basically it's kind of a big range in a way. Yeah, it's just right in the middle. It's between the high and the low. Yeah, it's kind of right in the middle. So it's hard to take a directional bias on that. It's just right dead center between the two, you know, the major high and the last low. But yeah, short term, who knows? Short term doesn't look very strong, but yeah, I mean, this kind of thing's not good. Rejecting center mass like that, it's not. Yeah, it's iffy. And then you got lows down here. Definitely watch this. The underside of that block there. Already rejected there once, but I would say for a potential range low, maybe. It's the same kind, you know, overall it's the same thing. It already hit it. So below that, you're looking at the other lows. Yeah, I would watch this. It's weird price action. You know, if it popped up, you know, that might be a thing, but you've definitely got sellers. Sellers are in the house. So we're kind of sandwiched between, you know, these two levels right now. And one of these two things is going to have to break. Yeah, sellers in the house for sure. So again, see if that can hold this bearish candle here, holds center mass of that. So this first one rejected. See how this closes. Still got 10 minutes. I mean, it'd be a solid close. It's still a bearish close. I would wait and see if we're going to get above that or not. Interesting on gold for sure. No, so I said not hearing the dog. Yeah, they're not awake yet. They'll probably come flying in here soon. I guarantee you they'll come flying in here. Somebody on YouTube said they can't hear the dog yet. Yeah, I'm sure they'll be awake in just a little bit. They'll come flying out of the room and wanting to go outside. Yeah, I'm sure they'll be around. Sometimes when I explain things, you see a different chart. Yeah, I'm talking some things showing on the group. I've got two different charts, way more than two, but sometimes I'm explaining something in a different way on the group side, because sometimes they see something a little different than what I show on YouTube. That's part of being in the group. You get to see the other thing and the other explanation of looking at things. That you get to see the roadmap for the day. But yeah, sometimes try to do the best I can to throw YouTube a bone and explain things. If you listen, you probably catch quite a bit of it if you really pay attention. But some things you're not gonna understand without seeing it. And I understand that it's probably confusing sometimes. Probably some things probably don't make sense. I try to speak in code sometimes intentionally so you don't know what I'm talking about. But anyway. Yeah, welcome, Justin. Yeah, I've seen you around a little bit. Yep, thanks for being here. Thanks for being here, everybody. We're just chilling, doing the same thing we do every day. You know, some days are good days and some days are garbage. Like the last 2 days have been kind of crap. You know, you can't make the market move though. You know, you just got to manage risk and do the best you can with what you got. Trade what you see. Try to leave emotion out of it. That's the hard part. I get frustrated when the market doesn't move sometimes. I'm like a race car ready to run and there's traffic in front of me. Like, it's like, let me go. Like, let's go. Let's get this market moving. That's the only thing. That's really the frustrating thing that I get frustrated about, is when nothing's happening. When I look at something, I'll look at a higher time frame and I'm like, yep, nothing's going to happen today. Might as well go back to bed. Yeah, it just looks like everything's going to range. Yeah, it's just, I hate those kind of days. Euro Kiwi is actually interesting here. It's still, this looks good. It's not moving. Like it's a little late in the morning for this to not have moved at all. Yes, this looks like price action. It still looks good. It keeps rejecting. Like, it just looks good. It looks like it's going bullish. It just won't do it. Talking about Euro Kiwi here. It looks so good. It just won't. It just hasn't moved yet. It's one of those where, you know, it's probably not a bad idea to take a risk. I mean, look at this. Look at the entries. Gave it, you know, had 4 shots at it today. 4 or 5 chances on this. The last 2 were to the pip. It's rejecting that balance point. So, man, just had a shot on it. Yeah, that would have been good to take it, but at the same time, you know, just wasn't watching it. If this will go, like, there's a lot of room on that. You know, as far as, you know, potential, daily potential, like there's a lot of potential on that to the upside. $377. Let's change this. 1 second. That has changed. This is not yellow. A lot of potential on this. 100 something pips potential on this trade. Just hasn't moved yet. It's getting a little late. A lot of times, if something's going to have a big day, it would have already moved probably halfway by now and it'd be consolidating, looking to take a second leg. This is the time when things consolidate after moving. On like an example, you know, and things by this time that have already moved way too far are likely to consolidate and either pull back or stay up here all day, which would suggest a continuation tomorrow. But, you know, things that have already moved this far already, they're probably going to pull back down a little bit, some kind of range. You know, there's only a few different types of things that can happen. You know, things that haven't moved like this, you know, probably not going to. Just, you know, may not move that much. Weird one. Like euro dollar, like this has come down so far. You know, this is a maybe for a reversal. You know, if this will do something like that, you know, that's a possibility to, you know, get back to the trap here. I could see that happening. So maybe. Example here. Euro Swiss, like this hasn't done anything. Swiss just isn't. Swiss pairs aren't doing a lot. Euro yen's just still distributing on the high. It's just, you got a distribution up here. I mean, it's really high, and like overall in the macro, it's just kind of distributing here. It's not really doing anything. It's back and forth. Came down but didn't leave, and now it's back. Flipping the daily candle back and forth. Pound dollar hasn't moved. Pound yen is a maybe. It's a maybe. This is one of those that's a maybe. It's shown a little bit of a direction and it's consolidating. And this is the right timing, timing wise. You know, timing is key in trading. Timing is everything. You know, things happen at certain times, and you know, this is one of those things where it's possible that continues. You know, because we've come up and we're consolidating and not, you know, it didn't come up here and sell off like a V. Like it didn't come up here and then sell off like a V, an inverted V. Like a peak. Yeah, it didn't spike and die and come back inside. So this came back up and it did sell off a little bit, but it's kind of holding. So this is a maybe for a continuation. A lot of times that'll happen, during this time, around, there's like this hour or 2 hour and a half range where things have made a move and now they pull back in range for a little bit. And then going into New York, they'll start to make another move. A lot of times you get a second leg. So it's possible on pound yen. I have to look at the pound and look at the yen and see if that's likely. Let's do that now. Pound yen is a possibility. When a strong pound and a weak yen, is that likely? Possible. Just looking at your averages here, like this is possible. For the yen to stay weak and the pound to hold this and continue higher, that's a maybe. It's a maybe. Right now the pound's kind of chilling at the high, but it hasn't really gone that far. It's not that strong. This is basically its average gain in price against all of the other major currencies. Its average value has been rising, and it's kind of just staying put right now. And the yen is definitely weak. It's not really showing any signs. You technically got a lower high. It's not really showing any signs of getting super strong. So that's a maybe. It's a maybe. Pound yen, something you could watch. A lot of times this, there are other things better to trade than this, but it's right now it's a possibility that this is going to be a range. Hold on, flip over here. They probably can't see what I'm saying. There's really nothing to say right now. It's a possibility that this is just a range consolidation to move higher. We've also, we had this major consolidation below it, like an accumulation type of thing. It's a little wide to be accumulation, but anyway, same thing. We've kind of had this range overnight, and now we're kind of chilling above that. We got a range above the last range. That's generally a good sign. It's especially at this time of the day. It's a good sign if we get a strong close on something like that. To try to take a pullback for a continuation. As technically, this could do that today. 41.3 is about where, something like that. That's definitely possible today. If this is going to consolidate and not die, if it's not going to turn around and die, then there could be a continuation here on pound yen. It's a candidate for a continuation into New York, so we'll watch that. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but it's definitely worth watching. See on that. Second. Oh, might have to restart the video here in a minute.
Yeah, that looks like a good candidate to pump.
Yeah, it's a maybe. Yeah, that's a maybe. It makes sense. It makes sense, and you're looking to get above the previous high, at or above this previous high, which would put it magically right at your projected high of the day, above the high here. You know what I'm saying?
Every single time.
It's a solid candidate. It's. Whoops, I don't know what I did there.
And the thing, yeah, man.
It's a solid
there's
candidate.
Probably a lot of other TA. If you put on like move shit everybody else uses, you could put on moving averages, trend lines, all that, and then it's gonna all converge right there, and then it's right there, and then you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I know where it's going.
Okay, yeah, so that makes sense, and that could be also, it could be pound strength, so might look at something else that looking for another what secondary component that's a pound based pair, what else might be getting weaker. The
pound Aussie was the candidate for today. That was the fattest trade of the day.
Yeah, definitely was. It just stayed low, and that's the thing. Maybe it's going to continue lower. I mean, it's possible. Swiss is a possibility. The yen, I think, is probably looking like the better candidate right now, just price action wise. But it's just one of those things. Like there may be, taking something into New York. That might be a thing. Pound CAD is all over the place, but it's not dead yet. I'm kind of glad I got out of that, but
Pound Aussie, we always talk about stuff that's been dropping for a long time. If you look at it, it's like, oh my gosh,
it's so low, man. Honestly, it just needs to come back down. But yeah, overall, yeah.
I wonder though, like what's the wick on
say like? Today. Sorry, go ahead.
It came down for how many months in a row? Like it was like almost all year last year. It was just dumb.
Aussie, maybe we at least get Aussie's crazy.
Half a year of pump. Maybe a quarter of the year of pump.
Can we get at least a couple weeks? Like, can you give me a couple weeks here? Yeah. Give me some. It's like the dollar. Same thing with a dollar. Can you just give me a couple green weeks, please? Yeah. Gosh.
Dollar says fuck no.
Something, man. But
Bitcoin. It broke all-time high again. 32.
Yeah, it makes sense. Just waiting on it. See, 37. Okay, yeah, it did run. Yeah, I mean, pumps are getting smaller and smaller though. Yeah, I'm just waiting for it to make a high.
See, they're smaller and smaller, but at the same time, like the move was a $1,600 move from bottom to top today.
That's the thing, is the volatility, and that's why I'm about to get back into day trading Bitcoin. I'm waiting for it to make a high though.
Look at your tool with it today. Like look at your tool, where you put your stop, where you would enter on the rejection there, and it's like, oof, it worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
Right there on this, and it hung out there for hours, just waiting, and I didn't long it. Oops.
I wish it would hurry up and make a high, because I want to get back in it.
This is starting to look like FOMO blow off top territory that we're in. Like the pump is getting more increasingly parabolic, and big bears are starting to step in. That drop from 34 was the biggest drop it's had the whole run up. So there's bigger bears starting to step in, but there's also a lot of bulls. So I don't know. I really have.
It's just too. It's just hard for me in principle to buy it. I'm like, it's in the next galaxy right now. It's just hard to buy that. I'm looking at it. I had to literally shut it off in my
bullish, brain. Like to make money on Bitcoin through December, man, I had to shut off that whole like the whole side of my brain that's like, oh, this is too high. Like I had.
It's corrected a little bit.
25K, bro. 25K. I was like, what the hell? Like, when it started rejecting there, and then I saw it broke out of that pattern. I'm like, oh, this is going.
Yeah, we talked about this a lot at the time. Like, we figured it was going high. When this just kind of hung around this 19,
that's
and then
this one too.
There. This one too, we were like, yeah, it's going higher because it didn't die. It kept retesting the high. It's like, yeah, that's a consolidation. It's not. It's a reaccumulation, and it's not a high.
If you look at the range and you measure it, and then you see when it breaks out, it's done this every single move up for the whole bull run. When it has a range and it breaks out, it does the same distance as from top to the bottom of the range, pretty much. Yeah. After the breakout, and then it consolidates, and then that consolidation, you measure top to bottom, pretty much. It makes a measure. Move, it just keeps doing it over and over and over again. Until it doesn't, but
that's the thing. The trend is your friend until it's not. That's the problem.
But if you've caught like 20 longs on it, and with a bunch of profit, then the one that it doesn't work, you're like,
sure.
Well, no.
Yeah, exactly. No, totally. Yep, totally understand that. Yeah, thing's just been brutal. It's been been good.
And then Bitcoin was good to me this year. Get a good, you killed it. But
Bitcoin was good this year.
When you're riding a trend like that, when it goes to reverse, you notice when it's stopping having that same strength. It starts losing the strength that you've seen the whole run up, and you're like, maybe it's time. Like now, I'm thinking about short. I'm more thinking about shorting.
All right, so here goes pound yen to the top of the range. This is a good sign. So if this will pull back a little bit, it might not be a bad guess there. Euro dollar also looks really good.
That boy ran away.
The dollar just made a lower high. This is nasty on the dollar here, and where it is too. How far up this is and where this kind of price action's happening. It's just it would make sense to be a potential range low here, but possibly here. If this is going to come back and do one of these kind of things. or even maybe lower, like it depends. But yeah, I mean, it would make sense that this comes back down. Just don't really want to sell the low on a red candle, but you know, looking at euro dollar, really taking the opposite on euro dollar, looks like it's going to come back up. I mean, you know, what do you see here? You know, a higher low W potentially, you know, coming back to the trap makes sense. And stalking this one all day. Got out a little early, but you know, it ran the extreme, and now we're putting in like, you know, a higher low kind of consolidation down here. It would make sense to pull back up to the trap there. We'll watch it. It's just one that, you know, there may be, you know, 20 something pips on it. Someone's asking about euro dollar. You know, we're watching this one. It's a maybe. It is a maybe. It'll probably come up right there.
I hopped out of the trades that yesterday, like GN was what I was looking at, and GA, and
yeah, those ran hard, man. God, they ran hard. Yeah.
They always do, man. Like, look, if you look at the chart, anytime they really decide to make that move, oh man.
Yep.
They rock.
Crazy low too. They're still low, honestly. It's still very low. Like in the weekly potential, like it's stupid low.
Yep, yeah, it is, but it's still just a completely, like, there's no strength. Like, the Aussie is just too strong. But now that we are in a new year, I'm hoping, even if it's just a big fake out rally, and then it continues back down for the rest of the year, I want to see some sort of upside on this. Like, I want to see it break.
Yeah, we're definitely coming off the low of the week. I mean, we got a big wick on the weekly candle now. If you look at the bottom of the weekly, you know, you can see that big wick. You know, this is your weekly potential here is inside of this range. And look at, you know, we were down here on the low of it, like way on the very bottom. We actually went below the weekly projected low, went below it yesterday, and now picked back up, slam. So we're coming off. It's extremely low statistically. On average, this was below the average low of the week, so it's about as good a risk reward as you can get, you know, trying to buy them.
Probably come up.
This is why I had that marked on there. I was like, watch for the low, you know, instead of saying that yesterday. Same thing on euro. I think the euro pairs are the same thing. You know, it's like watch for the low of the week. Same thing down here. We're on the lows, so there's a lot of room for this to go up on a weekly time frame. You know, on the weekly candle, there's a lot of room for this to move up. You know, we'll have to see what kind of wick we get on the bottom. All right, so hold on. Pound moving. Pound CAD. I see pound CAD coming back up. The pound might be moving here.
That held the daily open. That's gone.
Yeah, so this may be a thing. There may be a continuation on the pound. This is what I'm saying. If this will show me something, I might get back in it. But I think pound yen's probably going to be a better idea. If it'll pull back. If it'll pull back, we'll get back in it. Euro dollar is also a possibility. I don't know, we'll see. Oh, okay, the dogs are about to start flying out. Here they come. Here come the puppies. Hold on a second. Here doing burnouts on the hardwood floor. Here little claws on the hardwood floor. What's up, buddy? Hold on a second. Give me a second. Let me run them out the back door real quick. I'll be right back. Give me 1 second. We'll continue this day. Actually, YouTube, I've got to restart the video here. I'll be back in 10 seconds. I'm just going to restart the video, and then you can rejoin the stream. So let me put this in the chat real quick. 1 minute. All right, I'm going to restart the stream here, just so I can archive this session. So just come on back if you want to. We got cookies and punch. We're having a party on the other side. Gonna find some pips here. So anyway, it was pretty good London. We got a trade in. Took euro dollar for 28 pips. So that was a good one. And pound CAD for a few pips. I think 11 pips. So yeah, euro dollar for 28 pips short. Pound CAD 11 pips long. London was a little better today. So anyway, I'll be back in just a minute. Be right back.